Welcome to the Old World Fanatics, a Warhammer fantasy podcast to quench your hobby thirst for all things the Old World 1.5. I'm one of your hosts, Gommo, and I'm joined by Andrew and Josh.
Oh, 1.5.
He slipped that in there. He slipped it in there.
We've got a nice shiny new rule books to browse through.
Yeah, it's right. They're all,
wait for it.
All nice and neat and smells good. And you know when you get Welcome everyone to episode 99 of Old World Fanatics. Yep, you can tell we're pretty excited. Obviously, the whole old world is a buzz the last week now. I think it's just like
never been.
Yeah.
Yep. They've been so buzz since the initial release almost. Like it's just
it's crazy.
So much. So much to talk about.
Have you actually tried to explain how big this is to anyone who's not involved in Old World, or you just don't even discuss these things with people? It just feels like those last, not only is all those releases, but then that coming up, I was just like talking to Kate, like we're trying to get these videos and trying to do stuff and we just can't keep up.
Yeah.
Oh, right. No, I haven't tried to explain that.
That's just,
any excuse. Any excuse.
Yeah. Basically. But anyway, yes, welcome to one of our weekly live stream. We have the usual crowd by the look of it in there. Who we got in here? Slimer Bob, first comment there on our chats here. Obviously Mark and Silver Dave's in. I did see the dentist. Perfety's obviously here.
Perfety.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Andrew says Sparrow. Thanks, guys, for all being here. Silver Warden's in here. Solar Warden, sorry. God. And Salt Merchant Painting. I do need to reach out to you. I still need to do our video. Need a video lesson on my airbrushing. I was chatting about to Andrew last night. Cool. Oh, Pash Hammer is here. Yes. Man, everyone's in here. Well.
Wow.
Yep.
Thanks. Yeah. We obviously we did a live stream with Pash jumped on. That was big thank you to that last week. But I feel like we missed a lot. I think a lot of people missed a lot on first reading and then took days to digest. And then obviously Andrew and I finally we got a game in. We got a game in last night.
I know. I've not heard anything about this game last night. Yeah. I mean, apart from the fact that it went very late. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm aware of.
We started. We start like 8 by the time we actually kick it off, so it's not but yes, they go longer than 2.5 hours when you're relaxed and plus trying to look at
we sort of do a
rules
battle report thing anyway.
Yeah, there's a battle report. I was fiddling around with that, so obviously that'll be out in the next couple of days. Perfety, did you abuse Regen? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Rose is written.
That's right. Yeah. So we're going to chat about that pretty much. That's going to be our episode, and then we've got hobby. Anything else we've got to do, guys? I mean, there's a couple little shout outs I'll do right at the beginning, but I think that's there's a lot to talk about. Just a week in, well, not a week, but close to it in terms of everyone's responses, what we think of it, what we think they got right. Who knows? Who knows where it goes? Yeah. Cool. Well, if you are joining for the first time and you want to participate a bit, especially if we get into some hobby later and stuff, you can check out our, what's it called? It is called Old World Fanatics live stream chat or something on our Australia Discord. So if you're not on the Discord, jump on there. But related to the Discord and related to Perfety and Mark, who's in the chat here, we have kicked off the Old World Fanatics Grand Cathaint slow grow. So basically a monthly hobby, slow grow over the next 5-6 months or whatever, who knows. Perfety's obviously volunteered after I sort of asked him. I don't know, one of those two. So
threw him under the bus.
We've got a few channels over in that Discord as well that we're going to start throwing some Cathay. Now it doesn't have to be Cathay, but obviously Cathay's coming out this week, so that's what inspired it. But really, do what you want. What's Josh like?
I'm just seeing Miss Junk's Christmas ogres.
Did you see that? Santa Claus is there. They're all the elves.
It's definitely worth going to that chat for people that want to see it for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, definitely. If you haven't
I'm
done that,
impressed.
I did put a link on this video description to that channels as well. If you want to jump over there, participate with all these awesome our patrons over there. Speaking of patrons, obviously, if you want to join them, it's patreon.com/oldworldfanatics. If you want to check out there and support the show, which obviously helps us keep turning up. But we'd probably turn up anyway because we like Old World. Let us, and you'll get a shout out and questions. I'll go like this. Half
Many
time,
questions as the heart desires.
I feel like us talking about these rules is not going to be half of the show, but anyway.
Yeah, it's the intermission.
I feel like we just wait till we're sort of halfway-ish through the episode and then take it intermission. As Andrew said,
Not a bad idea, man. Not a bad idea.
Resume discussion.
We could even use that little timer at the top up there that
to be
says
quite honest,
5 minutes in.
To be quite honest, if I was like halfway good at doing this, there's a good chunk of the questions that are directly related to various questions in the FAQs and stuff.
So if you're really on,
if I was like really cool, I could like weave them into the conversation and like make it really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, weave them in.
Wouldn't even know it's a question. Yeah.
I think we need to share the last two comments here, though. These are pretty good. So Entropy says, have you seen the new match play rules? The baggage train seems like a good excuse to make a monolith. And then Silver Dave has come up with the bagalith. I wish I was like a 10th as funny as some of these patrons in our chat.
So many modeling opportunities for Josh's filthy mind.
How is it a baggage train if it's a monolith?
Well, the monoliths give and receive, do they? I don't know. Baggage trains give and receive. I don't.
What are you doing?
We'll let Josh decide.
Oh my god.
Maybe just be a big ball bag with like wheels. You know, I don't know, Josh.
You guys are the worst.
What? I'm just trying to stimulate your creative juices.
Oh god. Okay. Anyway, we'll move on. Oh god. Oh, we got caught the Aussies live yet again. I can't pronounce Presmoslaw Bukowski. Sorry. PB's in the house. I don't know.
PB.
Okay, cool. Let's may as well just dive into it, hey? We're not gonna go one for one. Yeah, Josh, I guess if you can keep an eye on those questions and know when to pipe in. Overall, I guess, guys, the main game, what are the big changes? We're talking like magic, infantry.
Yeah, magic is a big one.
There's some stuff around infantry challenges. There's some special rules changes. Yeah, you're right, mate. What was that?
Huh? No, I was agreeing to. Yep. Special.
Yeah. Special rules. Like there's a couple of them in there that I think are big. Probably touch on skirmishes as well, and that they didn't do a whole lot. But then there's some faction stuff that might be worth throwing in as well. But like we said, we're not going word for word on the erratas that we did the other day.
No, I think it's more just a broader discussion about all the implications and some of the stuff that's become apparent after it as well, and people have really gone over with a fine-tooth comb. I find it interesting too, like the changes with poison and the changes with the frenzy. Those are two special rules that haven't really been altered before.
Scary, man. It's Brave New World.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
Like they've always been very consistent. Each edition, untouched. And now
maybe a bit uncomfortable. I don't know if I don't agree with those changes because of that, or just because it's so weird, isn't it? It's like some rules you just think, what, like that's how it is. Why did you change? I don't know. Like, yeah, it's weird.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, get into it. One of the things overarching though, that I thought, which has been just the discussion, like, because I got surprised with the amount of changes here. I think you guys will probably remember I was a few weeks back going, I just don't know if they're gonna make it so many changes that you got to like rip up the book basically, because I felt like that wasn't an SDS way of doing things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a Games Workshop way of doing things, and I think a lot of us who haven't been playing a lot of their other games as much haven't realized just how much things like AOS, especially 40K, has done this like massively. Like it's different game because a lot of people have criticized this, going, "Oh, how are you gonna get new people in? They can't pick the rulebook up." You know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
true.
That's 10th ed, 40K.
To be honest, that's a lot going through my head is how this is all taking things up to a different level, and the barrier for entry for new players. Like I was trying to learn this game as a new player with all these different references and stuff. You're saying they do this in 40K though?
Well, I mean, Cam. I'm assuming there's 40K players in our chat here, but Cam for sure would be able to pipe in there how they approach it, because I know those guys are not exactly time. They're pretty time poor people as well. I'd love to know, because for 40K, man, they rewrote multiple parts of that book. It felt like within 6 months. And I'm talking about like chunks of it, like what they've done here, like like the flying thing changed, and Cam said they do it every 3 months. I think, and then not only that, they've also changed entire factions. Like I'll go back to the gold guys, like whatever they're called, the Adeptus, fucking whatever they're called. I swear, when they first came out, they had to redo it straight away, and then they had to redo it again. And then Eldari, they redid it like 5 times before they brought so it. I guess it's just weird. It's like, G-Dub's just been doing that. So I don't know. And maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing, because they're obviously trying to get the game somewhere. But maybe as old hammerers, we're not used to it. We go, what the fuck?
Yeah. True. And I mean, it has been, 18 months almost since the initial release of it. So
18 months.
Quite a long time.
And they've said twice, I think, in some of those things that they're going to stay to 6 month, mainly 6 month FAQs, which isn't too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that bit.
I think it was in one of the articles that they said it's every 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember something like that.
Yeah. So it's just funny. I just thought the commentary I've heard where a lot of people have like really, I wouldn't say criticized it, but like gone, wow, this is weird. Probably just haven't realised how much they've done in the other games. That's all. So I think it's just a given.
I mean, in terms of the extent of it,
yeah.
Can I put this comment out from Blighted Legionnaire? Quality balance updates plus anything in between. Buying books in 40K is just for the codes for the app, and then you put it in the recycling. Is already out of date when you buy it.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we can use this as a good thing and feel like Old World's ascending out of the SDS way of doing things and going into mainline studio. Not as a good thing, but in terms of knowing that it's up there as one of the other 3 main games. I'm just putting it out there. It's probably not that, but anyway, it is what it is.
Would you
the digital?
I'm sort of hoping they'll put out like a printable, like someone will do it where they just someone does a formatted little PDF you can print off and
well, you mean the whole rule book?
Nah,
just the
not
page.
the whole rule book. Just you know how like back in the old editions they would actually put the you
cut it out. So I was thinking about this. I guess let us know, but I'm assuming someone will do this quicker than us. You know that tab one? Yeah, I was thinking, what about just sheets and you peel them off and just stick it over the top, and they're all done in a way to go conk, conk, conk.
Yeah,
would you guys
and
want
they're
that?
removable too. Yeah, I think that'd be
I
think that'd be super popular. I think it'd be more popular than the tabs, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, so maybe either the tab guy can do a Kickstarter for that, or maybe this week we'll launch a Kickstarter and then work out how the hell to do it.
Why can't they update the PDF version? That's what I don't get, like the online version. I've never understood that.
Oh, it'd be a lot of work. Like to actually format it properly, they would need people, and they don't. There's like 3 people working on it.
Or have like a little like asterisk next to it, and then like you can hover over it and it tells you like the new. Just like surely there's ways. I mean, how much do they sting you for a rule book? It's not like it's cheap. It's not like it's a.
No, I know, but
yeah.
They're making plastic. They're making Cathay plastic crack and stuff rather than.
Yeah, I know.
But having said that, someone has put. Maybe the people are posting about this now. I've got a copy of just the rule PDF cut down with the rules stuck in the right areas highlighted.
Ooh.
So someone's already done that. So, totally legit. Yeah. Now, we're also blessed with the Old World app. Well, not app. You know what it's called? Like what's it called? TOW.warhammerfantasybattle.app, like T.
Oh yeah.
TOW.WHFB.app. But yeah, the old world Warhammer Fantasy Battle Type, the website, because once that gets updated, it's all linked, but it is not, as of live streaming, it is not up to date yet. But streaming it will be soon.
Yeah, but that you're right. That's a really good reference.
Yeah,
it gets updated.
But yeah, with that, let's just jump into what we think's the big changes, and the chat can keep us trying to stay on topic there.
The chat sends us off tangents all over the shop.
The chat is very, very distracting. But I love it.
I've got so many PDFs. Every time I press a PDF, I can't see your guys' faces. There we go. Well, look, it almost there's a little bit about combat result bonus here about the close order, but maybe let's talk about that when we talk about infantry and combat and stuff. Do you want to just chat? The rest of it in this first page is almost
do you want to hit the magic?
Yeah. So let's talk about magic. Oh, Jelly's in the house as well. I think he's going to be liking the take my more cult magic, but now they won't stay dead. Yeah. I think he's going to like some of this Tomb King stuff. Maybe we could talk a little bit, Andrew, about our game.
Yep.
While we're doing magic, let's just lace it in.
Oh, really? Oh, this is cool.
That might be cool.
The good, the bad, the ugly. Yep.
Yeah. So we've only had one game, so we're obviously experts. I took 2,000 points of orcs. Yeah, exactly, Jelly. We actually have to get sexy on as well at some point, so the two can.
We do, yeah.
Oh.
What was I going to say? I took 2,000 points of orcs. Andrew took vampire counts, so AKA not a real army.
Yep.
But yeah, so I just took I won't go through the list generally, but it's sort of that big block of black orcs, one big block of night goblins, 3 fanatics, block of a boar boys, a mangler, 2 doom divers, a wyvern, and a level 2. One level 3 orc and a level 2 goblin. I think is that about it, Andrew? Maybe a BSB. Oh, some little shitty goblin chariots too.
Yeah.
That sounds about right, eh? Yeah. So obviously 3 big
big blocks.
Yeah, which was cool.
Back in the game.
And obviously, as soon as I saw these changes, and obviously everyone else is talking about it as well, so it's not me, but just those black orcs thinking about, going sword and board at the front, great weapons at the back if you get charged. But not only that, the great thing about orcs, I feel like they got the chopper rule. So even if you go on sword and board, you've still got AP. So I think it's Was that only when you get charged? Now I kind of don't know my own rules there. Might be wrong there. But yeah, I feel like
they're just confusing.
Yeah. I feel like they
Was you playing this game last night?
Oh yeah, I can't remember, man. I don't even know what the AP on my balls are half the time. I'm like, it's too confusing.
It was a very tiring game. We were both shattered.
Yeah. No, so I think the orcs are pretty cool because they've just got a lot of, I don't know, I think they've got a lot of play in these type of big sort of infantry blocks. However, let's move over to Andrew's list. Undead do too, obviously.
Yeah.
What'd you take?
Oh God. Got me on the spot. So I was running 3 mages, funnily enough. So I had a level 4 on my Mortis engine. He was running the Scepter and the Spell Familiar, I think it is, for the extra spell. I know people are saying why do you run a level 4? But for Undead, your Necromancer level is how much you raise back for raised dead. So it is sort of more important than just the +1 spell that you're getting out of it.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to that, it is pretty important to have a high level wizards to raise your dead back. And then I had a level 3. Oh, sorry, he was running Necromancy. Then I had a level 3 just running around on the ground by himself, just trying not to get shot. He was running a Ruby Ring and Dark Magic. And he actually did not too bad. I find I was probably just borrowing off Gomo a bit with your Tomb King. Sometimes you just have you guys just running around the back. And then
yeah. That did go. I should have done that with mine, obviously.
Yeah. There you go, right. Well, you try. And then I had a level 1. This is purely just to try out how I was going to go. I had a level 1 necromancer, and he was running the was it the Hand of Dust or Ring
Hand of Dust bound spell?
Hand of Dust, is it? Yeah. So it's a Salmet spell, just to see how that was going to go.
And what spell did he have? Was he the one with glittering robes?
Yeah. It's running.
Did you ever get that off?
No.
Did you forget to cast it?
I think I did a few times.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking I don't think you ever cast it. Yeah.
I felt like Gomo. I just had like magic cards, just like all the spell cards in front of me. You lose track, eh? There's stuff going on everywhere.
Yeah.
So of course I was pretty meta hammer. So I was running 2 Tomb Banshees because what do you bring to a friendly game? 2 Tomb Banshees. So brought those along. White Lord BSB. Yeah, that's it. White Lord BSB. 5 Direwolves. Just for a bit of chaff. 24 Graveguard, running Sword and Board, and the Drakenhof banner for +1 regen to help me abuse regen even more.
Really lead into the originally unstable. Love it.
Yeah, that's it. Had 30 skeletons running Sword and Board and spears.
Yeah, big block of skellies.
Yeah.
Love
it. Good to see the skellies back. With
so exciting.
Raid standard, 25 zombies, 3 spirit hosts, because why not? And 3 Vargos. So the spirit hosts were actually just there to try and screen my my Necro Lord, who is my general. So because I thought, well, if he's got a dragon or something, hopefully I can just send them over, and the ethereal will keep them at bay. So yeah. Anyway. Yes, wooden hammer trauma.
That's some pics of the
you got pictures
with just the one, that
looks like a 6-head game, guys. What's going on with those big blocks?
It does.
I also I was doing the list because I didn't know what Andrew was taking at the time. And I was like, I was playing around with my Wyvern boss, and I was like, I should put Mortag's Best Basher or that other big bashing axe. And I went, fuck it, doesn't matter. Because I was actually trying to get more units in than magic weapons. And then he turns up with 3 ethereal, 3 ethereal units. Yeah, because you got the spirit there.
Yeah.
Oh crap, it's gonna be fun. Fun. But I guess I brought all that up because let's talk about how do I take that back off? The magic changes. It's like I only took a level 3 and a level 2, but Andrew went a bit more magic. I say heavy, obviously it was, but
definitely.
What do you think overall? Because obviously, What was your thoughts, Andrew, in terms of just overall with the
game?
We had
with the magic
one
part,
start of turn phase where I got nothing off or Gummo dispelled everything. That might sum it up. It's a lot harder to cast spells, and obviously it is harder to get that disparity between a level 4 and a level 1 for dispels as well. So yeah, it's good because it feels like it's not a level 4, it's just not like an auto cast.
With the casting values also, were you finding it was harder to hit them often as well? Like were you failing to cast more often?
Yeah,
right.
Like sometimes you'll get like a 5 or a 6 and you're +4. So most of the time, you know, if it's a 9 or a 10, you're still getting it. Whereas here you weren't. You're like, nah, I'm still 1 or 2 off.
Yeah, not even hitting it.
Yeah, you definitely felt it. And those buffs to cast are really important now. So like the Mortar Descendant gives you +1 to cast. So like that extra +1 to cast item to me is now more worth it. If you understand.
Yeah. Oh, there's heaps of repercussions to this now, I think. Like, like magic res is another massive thing. So anything now that just gives you those +1s or just MRs or something is huge.
Yeah.
Again, why I thought orcs were good too, because I think they'll be okay. I'm not saying they're top tier in it, but they've got a lot of those, reroll your casting, +3 range. So those type of magic weapons and stuff, arcane items can at least try and alleviate it a little bit. But yeah, it's still, you get it's a lot harder to cast. I just found the maths a bit confusing because I'm like, even though it's not very hard math, you just in 18 months you're used to it, and then
that's hard maths. Hang on. Then we've got much harder, more difficult maths coming later in this episode, man.
Well, yeah, true. But you know what I mean? Like usually just like rolling the dice and adding it, and now you're like, oh shit, hang on, no. It's just unlearning it. It's like, oh, it's
it becomes reflexive. That's right. And I think I'm so keen for this. Like, I'm so glad they made this change. Like, because a lot of the changes now we're just like absorbed now, but. Like we didn't know they were going to do this. Like this is something that we talked about as being on a wish list of something where just take it by half, and it opens up so many possibilities of in terms of magic defense and what you want to do. Like I'm making this now where I'm taking like level 1 damsels, like multiples of them, running around because they're actually giving
MR2.
Yeah. Wait, MR2 on the damsels? Yeah. Oh,
isn't it?
Right. I thought it was MR.
Am I getting it wrong? Is it the unicorn or something?
Might be the prophetess.
Oh, sorry. Is that the level 3, 4? Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I think it's MR1 for the damsel. Either way, it's if you can get little like multiple level 1s spreading around the dispel bubble, and then also giving MR run, and also taking up a spot in the lands. Keen for this.
Oh yeah,
that's how I used to run it.
The other thing too is it just eradicates like bound spells a lot. Like just like these fireballs and stuff, they're just not going off because they're like bound spell level 1, and then you're MR running it at a minimum plus maybe 2. You're like, sorry, dude, you have to roll pretty high.
Here we go. I'm staying corrected. Still a day. Both damsel.
Oh, they both. Okay.
No. There's gonna be
just what Bretonians need. Yep.
Yeah.
More buffs.
Yeah. It's I guess the only negative, I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate as we go, because I do like, you're right, like I like the changes to try and bring this stuff down and all that. What I don't want is someone rolling, I don't know, 8 dice, including, 8 magic spells, including the time taken to consider what spells to cast, and then the other person dispelling them and nothing happens. Because if you do that over like an entire game, suddenly you're like, fucking hell, we're just sitting here rolling dice and nothing ever happens. Yeah. So it'd be nice if the balance happens at a rule level long term, not so much just, you're doing this stuff, but it's just crap. It's like the percentage chances are low. Like, you know what I mean?
But at the same time, I feel like it was too potent before.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, yeah. I agree. You don't want to be pointlessly rolling dice, but you also, I don't know, it's very hard to hit that right balance.
Yeah. And the other thing too, maybe that'll settle down because as you're a player and you're going, man, there's just no use taking, X, Y, Z because it's, so therefore you won't be casting as much. Like you'll just cast what mostly works, or you'll set yourself up in a position with the right power scrolls are going to be huge, those type of things,
I guess there's 2 other major implications with the magic changes though, isn't it? One of it is, and we kind of want to discuss both of these, one of it is the effect on the legacy factions, and then the other one is the effect on the magic cards. Like they've obviously changed a lot of the casting values, a lot of spells, and we'll probably hit those spells later on. But that's
ironically they didn't cut like we did. We sat down to write on our cards, didn't we? And obviously you're taking legacy, so you've got a couple that wouldn't have changed, but I didn't have to write any on my ones because the only ones that orcs changed was the Gork signature spells changed. No one takes them, so I was like, I didn't have to write. I didn't have to change them. Yeah, but you're right. There will be a couple that you'll have to just mark up.
There will be. And I guess it is the start of legacy factions becoming, a little bit out of sync with the rest of the game almost, because you've had so many changes now.
Yeah.
With, the context of the magic. And then suddenly I think we are going to have to start to rely more, especially if more of these changes come through as down the line. We have to rely more and more on, third party or community updates or
like Renegade. Because Val is doing that. He said he's going to pump out one pretty soon, but will this speed the more people using it, or will it not? I guess it's going to be
it gets harder. It gets harder to justify using them like as is, because it won't fit properly with the rules. So I think it actually does push people towards using the Renegades pack more.
Yeah, yeah.
Either that or not having them. You know, it could go either way.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that might be region to region as they sort of go, oh, you know, I don't want, you know, like, I don't know, like Australia Masters for next year, are they going to be like going, oh, if we can't agree that Renegades in all the tournaments, do we just not put them in? Yeah, I don't know if we'd ever get to that.
I know. That's the implication, you know?
Yeah.
Because as it stands, it doesn't fit with the competitive approach with tournaments.
Which is good. Like, it's all right for some factions, but others are gonna struggle without Renegades. So, I mean, Dark Elves and Vamps are not in the worst spot, but obviously, as you guys know, like Skaven and Lizardmen are friggin' terrible. Like,
and
Skaven are unplayable pretty much. Like,
and even with the infantry buffs, I'm not 100% sure that that's gonna do a whole lot. For Skaven.
Why not?
Even with the current rule. I don't know.
They're just that bad, are they?
Yeah. Well, with I suppose, with the Errata, you would have Lizardmen. Because Lizardmen I didn't think were as bad as Skaven. I think Skaven were just the level above. You still see Lizardmen getting around. Same with Ogres. You still see Ogres getting around. They don't top tables a lot, but, you know, they're still playable. Yeah. I think Skaven were just,
I'm on board. Yeah. Todd comes up. Fuck Skaven.
Yeah, fuck Skaven.
What's with ripping Andrew's armies off? Everyone's ripping into it.
He's a dirty cheek bastard.
It's like Andrew. I'm like you've got what you've got. I mean, you've got nearly every army, I guess, but you've got three of the legacies? Vamps, Skaven, Chorfs.
Oh yeah, Chorfs. Yeah. Yes.
Cool. Anyway, let's just anything. Obviously, the ward saves that was just talking about. You can't like Plague of Rustum. I mean, well, so this is an interesting one. This goes to the MR thing and everything. Remains in play spells. So obviously, and with templates, there's the change as well around, you know, like being able to cast dispel it. So I think vortexes are almost gone to the crapper if there remains in play. And well, in some sense, because you can't just run off, you know, people can at least try and dispel it. But it is harder to dispel things because the remains in play, it's got to hit that number that's on the card. And that's still hard to do. You know what I mean? So it's almost like remains in play are actually getting a buff here because if they do get cast, then it's not a given you can just throw your level 4 out and dispel it because you're, especially if you're only at
because you're also only generating a lower.
Yeah, so they actually, in some sense, got a buff, which is
if you can get it off in the if you can get it off in the first place, then they'll probably stay for longer. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So there's a little bit that happens, especially some of those big ones. You know, like if you power scroll something like Crystal Column, whatever it's called, it's a lot harder to get like dispel. Is that 11? I can't remember which one. Is it Crystal Column? That's a little 11.
Column of Crystal.
Column of Crystal.
Yeah, I think it's up there.
Yeah. So if you power scroll that through to someone who doesn't have a dispel scroll, it's probably hanging around for a while, you know?
Yeah, true.
So I think that's one thing to look at, like go through your spells and see what just remains in play. And you know, does that, can you lean on them a bit more if you know you can throw something at it? So it's going to be, all this is going to be interesting, like meta-wise. Okay. So I don't know, anything else on Magic apart from the spell-specific ones? Because we're going to get into some good stuff next, I think.
Shall we do yes or no, like a thumbs up, thumbs down if we like it for each major section?
I love our prepare. That's what we talked about in our preparation meeting. That's right.
Oh, sure.
Was it?
No. We don't
what
we don't have one, but I like that idea, Andrew.
Well, Gummo has one by himself before we get into it. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So, Magic, Gummo.
So binary thumbs up or down, is it?
No.
Yeah.
There's no
gray area.
What's the other one like? Hold or what's it called? Where you want to reserve judgment.
Give ground.
Oh, that's
something had to be done. So I'll say I still think it's positive.
Josh.
Yeah, I give a thumbs up.
Oh,
for sure, absolutely.
3 thumbs up. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've totally lost my freaking. So I've lost my PDF again. Here we go.
Oh.
Scroll. There we go.
Go.
We're hitting the into some combat-y stuff here as well. Not straight through to infantry yet, but so they're basically this weird rule thing around the fighting rank and the movement to stop line hammer, and then that sort of, the supporting attack thing. I don't know. That's all sort of in these changes here. They did also clarify that charging units only get the initiative bonus in the combat phase, because I think it used to say just to the remainder of the turn, so you could people trying to hit you with initiative debuffs or whatever, like tests, then that didn't matter.
Is that what that was about?
I don't know. I'm just wondering what it was about. Yeah, because it must have been something related to that. I'm just trying to join some of these together. What else have we got? There's that. Maybe we'll keep going till we get to the model, like the next page. What was that?
The infantry one. Is that on the next page?
I think so.
Yeah. It's all sort of connected, isn't it?
Oh, it's not actually. It's so connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that when we get to infantry. I think the fly X was good change in the sense that they've made it that your pursuits and stuff are on the ground.
Yep.
Following up and pursuing. I like that. Gets
right. Yeah, I didn't actually read that one very closely. Yeah, okay.
You don't get those weird things where, you can still, like, they bump through, but if you fly, you can get across.
Fly over the top. Yeah.
So I don't mind that.
That's good. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, except when, I kept skipping the first 6 words. Yeah, okay.
That was in a game with me and Gomo, I think, actually.
Yeah.
We weren't sure on what to do.
We allowed it to happen though, like the fly, but I think it was right. Is that was it the case of it's probably the case of I can't remember if the fly was pursuing or chasing at the time. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it was pursuing, and then I sent one over to catch. And then a couple went in straight, not. Like, I don't know if it was a choice or not. I think that's what we were. Yeah. It was a bit, it was very grey. Yeah.
That's very weird.
Plus, we were using the fly to not bump into your own unit.
Oh, yes.
That's what it was. Yep. Whereas this, you can't, at least now you know that, like, you have to make your pivots first on. You can choose which way, but they do bump into each other because they're on the ground.
You will bump. Yep.
Yeah. So your sky cutter is going to be like rolling on the ground to pursue these units. The plague drone is going to be twiddling along little legs.
I love how fast they can move.
Just visually, this is very weird
on the ground. But if they're just walking on the ground, they're movement 1 or whatever.
That's movement 1 thing, but they're still chasing.
That adrenaline, got the adrenaline rush. Yep.
Now we got this is the first of those 2 special rules you were talking about, Josh. The frenzy, just +1 attack in basically charge move or during turn it made a follow up. So basically, if it's winning combat or it's charged in, it's got frenzy. But outside of that, it doesn't.
This is the first rule that we're going to hit where I'm like, why are they making this more complicated?
Yeah, I don't know.
This game's really complicated, and they're just adding more conditions to these rules. And this is a prime example of it, where it's can
Nah, overruled.
Or I'm just a little bit confused. Yeah, I just like, how do some of these things get changed or at least not pushed back hard by the people who actually are very in our community and playing a lot and do play testing? And you go, did you know about this? If I'm being an arsehole there, but I'm just like, what? It just seems very weird. Hopefully,
I know. I wonder if it's come about because it's like because of the infantry supporting attack changes and that type of thing. Like they were worried about frenzied units having too many attacks on a single model or in a certain number of ranks and that kind of thing. So they were trying to sort of slightly nerf both of them so that the way they interacted, you weren't getting so many attacks on the charge or receiving the charge. And I feel like that sort of was the intent. Maybe they did play test like, oh no, there's too many attacks like this coming out of this frenzied unit on the charge. But I don't know. I'm not convinced it would necessarily have been a problem.
No, it's that. Like if you went through all the discussion over the last 18 months, no one talked about that. It's being a problem.
No. And Frenzy is such a massive drawback that it should have quite a decent benefit, you know? Like I don't mind that at all. Like I feel like having the consistent +1 attack all the time is fine because you have to learn to play around that as the opponent. I think it should be.
It's just weird. But anyway, that's cool. Well, that's one of them, obviously. I mean, look, overall, does it make too much of a difference? Probably not. But I mean, it does. I guess it brings a tactical depth in the sense that if you know there's a frenzied unit, if you can get the charge off on it, good way to really knock some things down. So there is some tactical elements there that, you know, but again, makes them potentially less takeable. I don't know. Impact hits. This is cool. I like this. Impact hits. So this is basically the thing where hang on, this is a different one. This is just it is. It's both. It's before issuing challenges, and that obviously just added in this clarification, which was related to some of the other older FAQs where it's always on the unmodified strength of the model. So like the York Boar Boys don't get it in nomadic war and stuff.
Right.
But before issuing challenges. So this is this cool thing saying, you can't, you know, you'll impact hits will go against the unit and then into the challenge if you're challenging. So what do you think about that one?
Sorry, impacting the unit and then the challenge starts. Is that what you mean? Yeah. It makes sense. I think thematically it totally makes sense.
Yeah. I thought it always was a bit weird that like one little champion could just take all the impact from this thing, just this chariot's roaring down and it just manages just to hit that one person. At least this is a bit more real where it's like it bashes into the unit and then they start fighting. So I like that.
I mean, how are you issuing a challenge before it hits the unit? You know, like they're not going to hear you from the chariot and then
that's it.
So, no, I really like that.
Kills all these people, stops, and then the champ comes out and then he's like, "You, come on."
Like the thing is, the more of these rules that are like, you know, you can sort of visually or narratively feel like it feels right, the better. And this is totally one of them.
Yeah, I think so. And I think this one blends so well into it synergizes into all the other changes that you have, like around infantry and stuff, in terms of giving you a counterpunch to that, to not, you know what I mean? Like, so you're getting all this. It also brings chariots in. I wouldn't say chariots haven't been in, but maybe they haven't been in from a. We've been bringing chariots because they're wound dense models, and I'm immune to killing lower monster slayer. We don't actually use chariots.
The character mounted on like
we don't actually use chariots to run into people and wipe like ranks of infantry out because there is no infantry on the board.
Yeah, because that's like, to me as well, just that continuation of nerfing challenges throughout the FAQ. So it seems like challenges are getting nerfed, and this is one of the way that they're nerfing challenges. So
no, it's good. Let's just keep going. So Impetuous, that's basically doing that. It's a leadership now.
Impetuous is a massive change. Like that's really cool. Can I briefly hit on this a bit too? Because I mean that's really important. Is that actually, like, because it varies so much depending on the unit's leadership as well. And obviously there's also questions about how it interacts with warband and all that kind of stuff as well. I mean, I love that they did take the time to make this change to it, because it needed to happen, because the 4-up for everything was really brutal. I do wonder, like, sometimes there'll be some units where the Impetuous becomes irrelevant. Stuff that's got relatively high leadership, 8 or 9, that especially can re-roll. Suddenly the rules slightly irrelevant, you know. So I do wonder. I do worry slightly that it's going to veer towards being slightly like irrelevant to some units, you know. I feel like most of the time, if the unit's leadership 7 or 8 or even 9 and it's non-rerollable, then it'll be kind of cool. And that's sort of like the bound of chance you want, that sort of 58 to 83% likelihood of passing it. But I almost, to be honest, guys, I would have been like, if they just reduced it to a 1 or 2 they fail rather than a leadership test, I would have been happy with that too.
Yeah,
because that's a 66% chance of
passing.
It's
more like a normal sort of shitty leadership test.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the likelihood of passing it is about the same as a crappy leadership test. Whereas I feel like this can be gamed a bit more. And like as soon as the unit has veteran and they're probably going to pass it, they're going to be okay. Like it plays into the errantry war list like perfectly fine, because the whole army's got veteran, except for the ground knights, but everything else got veteran. And so suddenly it's like leadership, whatever, but re-rolling it, like most of them are going to pass. And suddenly it's, I don't know, it's not going to be as ridiculous as I wish.
Am I right that Impetuous, because it just must make a leadership test, so that you can use your generals and everything, it's just that you can't do the warband element of it? That was the thing that's somewhere else in warband, isn't it? This isn't one of the ones where you can't, you don't have to take, you don't have to test
is that
your
break
own
test, break test only or something for the warband? Or it's got limitations on what you can use it for?
Something like that.
But the fact you can use the general leadership already is already like minimized.
Yeah, so like, do you think though, if they didn't do that and just went, it's like those, the car, the Arise and stuff in Team Kings, it has to be your own leadership.
Like
that'd have been leadership. Good.
I reckon that's a better sort of middle ground. Yeah, because the thing about impetuousness is you're not listening to the general. That's the whole thing. They can't wait for the general. That's the whole thematic of it. So for me, that is exactly.
Don't you reckon they've screwed this around a few times? They've got this, and then also like, is it the Cathay Dragon, when it turns into the dragon, it loses its inspiring presence? It feels like those two things are around the wrong way. Like the dragon's pretty fucking inspiring. So pretty weird.
So anyway, for us, warband definitely can't be used with impetuous, and that I feel like that's right.
It's going into our discussion of if the rule aligns with our fluff, then it's cool, and this one's a little bit. It's good that you're taking a test that you can do something about, but I feel like
you can mitigate it a bit, which is cool.
Yeah, they're acting very disciplined here because they're obeying rules.
They're listening to the general for some reason. I don't know why they're listening to the general.
Then we got the large target stuff that basically, basically saying you can shoot with an extra rank. Cool.
Oh yeah. Wait, this is a large target rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
Massive. I feel
it is, but if you do that, and it's right here. Poison attacks the other one, right? So these two go hand in hand. Are we seeing double nerfs that are actually just fucking annoying? Or
it's double nerf.
You didn't need both. You just the large target was enough. Before they made that FAQ about everything seeing the large targets, it wasn't really a problem. All they needed to do was reverse that.
They even had evidence in the current version of the game where it wasn't a problem.
That and the TMP nerf, those two nerfs were the only things that needed to happen. They didn't need to nerf poison.
Yeah, because now they've fucked with.
I was going to say, but not having access to poison, I find it quite a nerf having the large target debuff now, because I'm like, well, my archers are going to struggle putting wounds on a giant. I could have a big block of archers and
because you were taking you didn't have multiple ranks, but sorry, your skirmishers. No, they can still see it.
I did. My Sea Guard were having they could all fire, I believe.
Does that mean skirmishing archers are fine? So a big block of skirmishing,
surely.
Archers, or like the what are they called, the Ungors, they'd all still shoot because they can draw a line of sight.
surely.
Yeah.
And you can still volley fire. That's a question from Entra, but yes, I don't think volley fire changed. So technically you can still volley fire. So I don't think it's going to affect, like Royal Host actually gets, it's not so much a bump, but the others fall down and it stays where it was, which is it can always volley fire. So
even for stand and shoot?
Yes, and
volley
stand
fire?
and shoot as well. Yeah, so it's pretty good. But obviously you don't have as bigger blocks because you've got dudes in front, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, because I think you've got to take them in the cohort. And I can't,
okay, yep.
But this is skirmishes now block each other. Yeah, but not to large targets, do they? Because everyone can. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It says here you can draw a line of sight to a large target over or through another unit and vice versa. So I'd imagine skirmishes can all see.
I'd imagine the whole unit of skirmishes be able to hear it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're right. Let's talk about this poison though, because I actually. And should we do some votes before we get to that? What's up here that voted? We've been doing it anyway. I think happy. In fact, it's great.
Overall, I'm really happy with most of the changes.
We're voting on page 2,
except for the frenzy, except for the. I am happy with impetuous. I feel like they could have done slightly differently, but overall, it's much better than the 4-up.
Yep. No, I agree. Yeah. I just think I'm not unhappy with the frenzy. Even I'm just like you could have just crossed it out.
I'm really unhappy with the frenzy.
The only one I'm technically unhappy
I hate the frenzy charge combo. Actually, really annoys me. They have a complexity budget, and they're wasting it on making something conditional that doesn't need to be conditional.
Yeah. True.
That's what annoys me.
And this is what they did with poisoners too, because these two things didn't need to be fixed if this was because now a rule that's been around forever is changed.
Yeah.
So when we talked about that, what are the implications though?
Hatred's the only one I think now that hasn't been is still the same.
So
in the crosshairs.
What are you thinking about poison attacks now? Like what's the negatives of this change apart from the the complexity and the dice pooling and all that crap? Like what do you think falls over because of this, or is there anything that technically could be improved because of this? Well, not improved, but is there other game play here?
Wait. Can we confirm how this works? So the way I read it is there's no dice pooling. It's just that if you roll a 6, then your next pool of dice you can add +2 to one of them. Is that right, or am I misreading that?
Wow, isn't that the same thing?
Isn't it for every wound? I thought it was for every wound roll.
So for each,
+1, isn't it? Or +2.
For each natural 6, you can then roll a +2 modifier on one of those. So you're still pooling it because you have to know which dice had a +2.
Yeah. But the whole poison pool. Yeah.
The whole poison pool, you can pick a 4 and make it a 6.
Yeah.
Basically. Any of the dice. Doesn't have to be any of the poison dice, right? You know what I mean? Like if you rolled 10 dice, you got 2 6s.
Yeah. Right, okay, I see what you mean.
To hit, and then you hit with another 4 dice, so you've got 6 hits, 2 of them poisoned. Do you then roll another 6 dice and pick those 2 dice to add +2?
I actually see what you mean, but I'm like, oh god, that's more.
Or do you only add +2 to 2 dice that you have to roll separately?
Yeah, I'd say separate. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, really? Because it just says they may apply +2 modifier to one of the rolls to wound.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But then, but do you have to? Can you ever? Is there another rule somewhere that talks about modifiers need to be sort of applied before you roll dice or anything? Not really, or because you're saying you roll your dice, you pick out the ones that did wound and go they wounded, but the ones that just missed, I'm going to apply poison here, so therefore they wounded.
Well, that's how I read it. I mean, I don't. Yeah,
because then that's quite strong.
Yeah, that makes it really strong.
Yeah.
Well, it makes it almost the same as what poison is, in that you almost have 2 guaranteed wounds.
Yeah, true. I've never even read it like that. Well done, Josh. There you go. I didn't even know that. That's like.
I don't know. I mean, I may be completely wrong though.
No.
That's how I read it.
I can see what you're saying. Yeah, because they suffer to one of their rolls to wound. It doesn't say for the dice.
It doesn't say to that one.
Yeah.
That dice gets a +1. Yeah, it's just one of them, right?
There you go. So that's another interpretation, which is, I think it makes sense what you're saying. I didn't even read it that way. I just automatically just.
I mean, I'm not confused, but I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why do they have to do this? Like,
just make it clear.
So if it's like that, it's probably the same power level, but just a more complicated way of doing it.
Yeah.
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 The only other thing I thought though with this then is the effect of rolling to wound means now that you can get some of the items that you would have had on a wound roll, like armor bane, killing blow. Killing blow, which doesn't really affect the +2 modifier because it's got to be a 6. But I was just wondering, is there stuff there that makes it, I don't know, like usable in the sense that, like, is there low strength stuff with armor bane that then becomes sort of useful a bit here because they're getting a bit of a bump at least to. So not armor bane, armor pen. Sorry, they're that now some of their hits now can wound a bit better, but because they've got armor pen, they're actually doing damage. Whereas before, a lot of times with poison, they don't have armor penetration, and so you're just rolling for 6s, but they're getting a full save. So I was like, one of the things I thought of was obviously the Outriders shooting, but I don't know if they can get poison. But
what occurs to me is if that my interpretation is correct, then it suddenly becomes a lot easier to hit a 6 to wound, and then suddenly if you have poison with killing blow or with it, armor bane or whatever, it's actually very likely. It's actually much more likely, and then so that combo actually becomes, if anything,
I think it's natural. A natural.
It isn't natural.
Oh, it's a natural.
I think armor bane and the other one are natural, so that doesn't make any difference.
So it's cool. Okay, good.
It's just I'm thinking about things. Is there something where you've got an armor?
It is nice to be able to trigger those effects. Then, okay. Okay.
You're probably looking at armor pen, like anything that has an armor penetration. So you automatic. You know how like you see some of those shitty spells that have like strength 3 but armor penetration 1 or 2. It's like if there's close combat weapons or something that are similar to that, then this maybe putting poison could help you wound bigger things because suddenly you're getting +2 to wound when you're on 6s, but you got armor penetration. Look, I'm just trying to put lipstick on a pig, probably, but I don't know. Anyway, but look, it's a big thumbs down. It wasn't even worth. All they've done is made us talk about it, which is fucking annoying, and they didn't have to change it. But anyway, it is what it is.
So now it's going to require another FAQ or local scenes having their own FAQ or interpretation. Yeah.
And the thing that I don't, even like with your interpretation, which could be right, Josh, and yes, I can pick up all the dice. I can count all the 6s and then just roll all the hits and know that I've got, say, 3 6s. But now I've still got to, and I guess I need to know I'm looking for 4s to wound. But I've got 3 of them that can wound on 2s still. So now I can pick out, like, I don't know. I feel like you're still like hunting and pecking, like it's confusing. But anyway.
And if you roll a 6, you don't have to worry about it. So the 6 you can ignore, and then you got to wait for that 4 or 5.
Okay, here we go. Regen. This is the one that we skimmed through on the chat with Pash the other day, just thinking that it was more cleaning up that you can't, Plague of Rust regen. But we missed that it is, yes. So, Andrew, you're the regen expert having rolled so much. How does it work now?
Well, which interpretation do you want to use? This is the thing. So, they've just changed it so that the wording is, I don't know why it's changed because it's made it worse in my opinion. Because basically before we get into this, there was an FAQ saying that a question about regen and how it doesn't affect things like crumble when you lose a wound. Ross, they deleted that, which made things. I don't know if they deleted that because they thought they cleared it up, but it's made it even more frigging confusing.
Andrew.
Anyway.
So much faith in GW.
Yeah. So they've come out with this, immediately after a wound is lost, but before models with 0 wounds remaining are removed from play, a model with this special rule may make a regeneration save roll by rolling a d6 and comparing the result to its regeneration value in brackets. So it's like a 6 up, 5 up. If this regeneration save roll equals to exceeds the value, 6 up, 5 up, the lost wound is recovered, but it is still counted for the purposes of calculating the combat result, which is the same as what it used to be. Rules that affect armor values do not affect regeneration values unless stated otherwise. So like killing blow, you can't get. It says you cannot take a regeneration save or something to that effect. But yeah, it's weird that now that they've gone, so immediately after the wound is lost, but before the model with 0 wounds remaining are removed from play, because there's other things that can happen to you, and it says you lose a wound, or a wound is lost, such as things like is it DTs and crumble, things like that. So it's just weird wording. But
there's also this issue, Andrew. Like you were sort of alluding to it when you were regenning one of your spirit hosts or whatever.
Yeah.
But in general, you could also read this as saying, I've got a 7 or what is it, 8 wound bloody Black Orc Wyvern with regen.
Yeah.
But if you wound me and I'm on 7 wounds, do I even take a regen save?
I think you would. Yeah.
How do you?
It just says immediately after a wound is lost, but just before models with 0 wounds remaining are removed from play. Or do you mean like that's triggered by the regen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what it says. But before models with 0 wounds remaining are removed from play, a model with this special will make a regen save by rolling d6.
Yeah. Jeez.
So they fucked it totally up.
I'm sure that's not the intent. But that
so it's not really going to work on a dragon or a multi-wound. Yeah, we did.
Like to me, that makes regen useless,
really
except for on infantry.
Infantry, yeah. But I did it on Crumble with the multi.
Maybe they have stealth nerfed the third save.
I really hope they don't come back with a FAQ 1.6 where you know how like they had that one in Jan or whatever where they were just very rules as written. They went, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Now they're going to come back and go, yeah, of course. If you haven't lost your last wound, you don't get a regen save. Suddenly all those regen save items are just going to be...
They're all just useless.
I'm dead. The Tomb Kings and stuff. They're like, no save, right? Till they just have the 1 wound left.
Yeah. But infantry would be a powerhouse. Then all of a sudden...
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's perfect saying? The intent's clear. You take regen saves after multiple wounds rather than before, so have to take multiple saves. Other than that, you don't get regens if you didn't. I don't think that was clear perfectly. What do you mean? Yeah, like, yes, you do. So now, like, you do, but like if you hit a cannon, if I've got my 10 wound dragon with just a regen save and you cannon it, say D6 wounds, just whatever, they just go straight through, do they? You don't get any save. I'm just coming up with this now because we played this yesterday and we didn't play it like that. We played it. We played the last wound getting a regen, like in terms of crumble and stuff when you lost a wound. But when you suffered a wound, you got a regen. Yeah. We were doing the suffer wounds. I guess, and they're saying change the rule. They haven't even replaced a paragraph. Oh, this is fucked. It's making me hate Old World.
My trolled high trousers are worth nothing.
Again, I know that's getting me angry.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
But people, I'm not the first to say this, but they've had 8 editions of Warhammer Fantasy before this.
Yeah.
Why are they making rules up when they've got 8 other editions to draw from that goes, yes, that worked. That worked.
Yeah.
Let's just come up with something else that doesn't work.
Yeah. Just use something that makes sense. That's just so annoying.
Sorry, a bit negative on that one, but now I'm a bit worried about that regen rule because now it's like
because we are lost.
There's no way I'm playing it like that though. We're just some of this I think you just cross out. I'm not using that. I'm not using that.
Nah.
Yeah,
didn't happen.
Poison crossed.
Even like going back
crossed,
to like
regen crossed.
The 6th ed one, where it just sort of says, you know, if it gets attacked in close combat or shot at, or the target of spells, at the end of their phase, roll the d6 for each wound suffered during their phase, and if it regens, it regens. Like I don't know. Like it tells us like this is so procedural, but even the way they've phrased it, it's not explaining what their intent is. In the way
their intent, I think, is what you're saying, Josh. Which I think we all want what it's sort of saying in the sense that you go save, ward, take your wounds, multi wounds, and then if you got regen, you get to bring some of them back. It's so thematic. It makes sense. It splits out. Why are we taking ward and regen? Why don't you just take one? Well, now you got a reason to have them separate. So it's freaking awesome. They just can't write it. And I think Mark's saying the same thing. Don't worry. Wait for the official answer. So hopefully. Anyway, stomp attacks, resolving them. Made in combat that must be made last after all initiative. They hit automatically and use unmodified strength. So that's the same type of, I think. That was,
the stupidity. That was the other one that was confusing to me.
Good. This one?
Yeah. Yeah, that first dot point.
Talk about stupidity.
Yeah.
They did one good thing. They added more things to it because before you weren't even stupid. You just do whatever you want as long as
and you could move like that as far as that. Like you had a choice about how far you'll move.
Yeah, up to you can move 1 inch, move 4 inches.
Yeah.
But now you just can't move, can't shoot or cast spells, can't attempt to wizardly dispel, and must hold a charge by an enemy. Which, in theory, if you don't, at the surface,
can I just
cool.
search for drilled and so because I'm gonna, when they talked about the part about when can you charge, and then they said yes, a move is a move.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Huh?
No. They'll talk about like it's a move, so that's where you start going. Well, hang on. Stupidity saying it can't move. Anything's a move is a move. If it's moving, it's a move. And then suddenly they go, you're stupid, can't move. So therefore you can't move for the turn. You can't.
That's
right.
You
can't.
Yeah.
There's no moving allowed.
Yeah, I've missed it now. I don't know where it is. But anyway, I'm back to here. Yeah. Okay. Forget the sloppy rules writing. If we're assuming you just can't actually do your remaining move, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And maybe make a move in the compulsory subject.
The question is, and as Entropy says, and it says at the start, you don't roll for stupidity if you're engaged in combat or you're fleeing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So, is it likely that you are in a situation where you're forced to move? So, you're not going to fail a panic check or anything like that. Like I'm trying to think of situations where you might have a flee trigger during your turn.
What happened with stupidity in the other editions when you were stupid and someone charged you? Like you just have to hold, probably.
Yeah,
I'd assume. Yeah, so that's okay. Well, maybe it's technically legit.
Yeah, you just have to hold.
Now, isn't there spells though that can give you stupidity? If you're in combat, but like is stupidity in combat? I guess you have to. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
Well, you shouldn't be stupid when you're in combat
unless it's fleeing or engaging in combat.
Because you're not testing while you're in combat.
Maybe it's
right. Maddie's saying, well, how do you give Grandor for Vigo if you can't move?
Yeah, but he's saying you're not going to be stupid because you're in combat. So
you don't test for stupidity if you're actually in combat. You're in that start of your turn.
So the question is, can you ever be stupid and you end up in combat? I don't know.
Well,
you can on that first test.
It's stupid until its next start of turn subphase.
Yes,
so that means it's stupid for the duration of your opponent's turn.
Yeah, which means they can charge you, and now you are still stupid, so therefore you can't do that. Yeah,
so it specifically says it lasts till the start of your following turn.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It doesn't only affect your turn entropy; it's actually
entropy. So somebody charges you, and then what happens when you give ground? Or you can't move. Like,
why didn't they just say it's till the start of the turn? Why did they phrase it like that? That is such a dumb way of phrasing it. Oh my god,
that is.
I'd almost, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, cool. That's again just god. They need to open source this stuff. Just go, we're going to release FAQ in 2 weeks. Here it is up on GitHub for 2 weeks. Correct it, and then it becomes official. Because I think it'd be fixed like that.
It would.
Not hard. Run it through chat, like 3 different LLMs, and you're done. Swift Stride, did that change? That's just telling you when you have to actually apply it. You can choose. Well, you've got to do it before you roll it.
I love how they haven't taken away the option of the extra dice in the flea roll, which annoys me so much. It's still May, right? Yeah,
it is
May.
Yeah,
and it's actually even more clearly,
especially in the flea. I mean, that's stupid, eh? Like,
it is.
I'm going to flee slowly.
I don't like. Yeah,
and you do it. You do it, Daya. You're just like, I don't want to run that far.
Yeah. I actually thought, that was one change I was hoping that they would. I sort of expected they would make. But they didn't.
Yeah.
What about this Vanguard not being able to charge? I mean, that takes it back to what it used to be in 8th.
Should have been that from the start.
Yeah.
And it ruins the Exile banner peg bus thing combo, which I'm all on board for.
Yep.
Here's the warband around the. Can I use this modifier on restraint or impetuous test? But that's it. So that's cool. This is this quick turn thing I was talking about, Andrew. I think we talked about last night that there was. Up until they did this, you could do like Arcane Urgency, or that was in remaining moves. Or some of the other spell, like if you move somehow in a different phase, you could quick turn. But unless it marched unit as open order formation, may pivot about center changes facing up to 90 after moving during the remaining move subphase. So there might be some edge cases. I can't remember where.
Yeah, okay.
You would get another one because you were moving.
Yep.
Just trying to think too if it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's probably what that is. Skirmishes in combat.
Yeah.
I mean, look, whatever. They just got to go back into skirmishing afterwards. They didn't actually address, are they ranked? Are they not? Have they got this?
No,
they didn't. Do they have facing? Who knows?
The charging rules are interesting as well because it's like skirmish. What is it?
Just
more than half of the unit models in charge and declared. I was reading that part of it's because people were like interlacing Peg Knight units, two different skirmishing units, like interlacing it and that kind of things. One guy they could see from around a forest and the whole unit can charge and that kind of thing. So people were like,
I like that bit, stopping
the
that.
Extreme, so I like stopping that, but I didn't even realize that was a problem until I heard about it.
Yeah.
And the rest of it just seems to overly complicate it. I mean, I feel like they did need to nerf skirmish charges in some way. I don't know that this is going to have the effect that they were hoping for in general.
Yeah.
Would you be worried about these skirmishes?
Do the 180 degree or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I just feel like if you just change if you change the Royal Peg to Monstrous Monstrous Creature, people aren't whinging too much about pegs. They're tough and they're good and they probably break the thematicness of the Brett army. That's a different internal balance issue.
Yeah.
Because they're better than knights and stuff. But I don't know. The way skirmishes are now, I'd almost like, fuck it. They need a rewrite. So
I don't know that they would change just the Royal Peg though. Like, does it make more sense to make all monstrous cav in infantry have a 90-degree line of sight to recategorize them?
I actually like the idea that some of these like individual little cav things can do 360. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But is there other units that are skirmishing that are just really crazy if you get hit by them? Like, just feels like pegs are, but some of the issue is the dude as well can do it, whether or not he's in the unit or not, he can just go anywhere and he's so powerful.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like even back in previous editions, like the characters had that arc of sight, but the Peg Knights still had 360, which was a weird dichotomy, but it did at least alleviate that problem.
Yeah, it did.
That's the thing. And I'm not saying that would totally make pegs bring them back down, but I feel like it wouldn't make them, you just got to deal with them. I just feel like, I don't know.
How they fixed it.
Mess to...
Yeah.
Shall I hit the Peg Knights now? Because they did fix it, Gobbo. They increased them from 55 to 59 points.
You can't find those
4 points on. You? No, mate. No, I can't find them. And they took away their lance formation. Oh no. Yeah. No, I can't be in lance formation anymore. What am I going to do?
Well, this is
army in the book. First unit in the book now.
You could just
take them.
You can just not bring that banner anymore that you don't need anymore. And the Zealous Knight banner. So I'm pretty sure you got some points. You might even be able to fit a few more pegs in.
Whoa.
Basically, the extra. Yeah, it's basically the cost of the horde is the extra cost of the peg knights.
Maybe after Sisters of the Thorn, they got a bit of backlash and like, oh, can't get out the nerf bat too hard. Let's just put them up 2 points or 3 points.
That's funny, isn't it? Because they've triple nerfed a whole bunch of stuff, but they haven't. They've done a very weak attempt at nerfing that unit.
There we go.
Oh, now okay. Before, so this is the infantry changes. Shall we do our shoutouts?
Oh yeah, good. Look at that, right on time. Yes, let's do our shoutouts. Are we? Was there any question while I'm doing the shoutouts? Is there any questions that we should have answered on that first batch? Like you have a look while I'll do the patron shout. You know what I mean? Like from the actual patron questions. We're halfway through, so the chat's still pretty busy here. So we'll give a lot of these guys a shout outs. Like we said, all the patrons get read out. So if you want to check out and join them over on patreon.com/oldworld fanatics, we have Adam Lamb, the Orange Juicer, Maddie Firebird. I think Maddie might be. Did I see him turn up? Did I see someone saying Maddie? Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Firebird 7137. Peter Holman,
he was in here. Yep.
Mark Langley, Matt Hinton, the Old Warrior, Silver Dave's in there. Sporadic Sanity, Mark, Nick, Graham Vanderbolch, Chris Bowler, Drunkhammer Nate, Ben, Shooter Louis, Eugene Chaffel, Benoit, Cam the Dentist, James McKellen, Liam Fallon, Tommy Kublin, Jay McBride, Flatwell's Edge, Sexy, Jelly, Error of the Old World, Kill Her, David Dodge Lancaster, Tommy Dogs, Matthew Klein, Matt Morris, Perfety, Griff, Jess Tors, Wood Duck, Josh Griffiths, Ninanawum, Daniel Broadstock, Elliot Mitchum, Gilthos, Draconos, Diesel, Denny Gamer, Robert Z, Episode 5, Empire Strikes, Error, Page Fault, OG Whirler. Hey, Robbie Gherkin. That's the same as last week.
Cool. Is it?
Yeah, didn't he have these box block things last week?
Maybe he's on holiday. So. He's taking some time off.
Kieran. Gunwitch, Zen Fox, and Todd Lloyd, who is now the OG, who is on the chat or was before, because we lost our original OG. So, where's Todd? He was, maybe he's gone, but he was there.
He was. Yeah, he was here.
He was there.
Big thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. It does help us keep going. So, you obviously, now what I was saying, we had some questions, but is there any that we throw out before we keep going, or you want to keep going, Josh? So I haven't read them. I'm not allowed to read them.
You're allowed to read them if you like. I haven't read them before. Why does everyone keep thinking I'm making these?
I wasn't there today. I wasn't there. There was like 86 messages I hadn't seen because I keep thinking I can't read them, and I'm like, but I've got to catch up.
No, it's not a specific. You guys can participate. I didn't mean to. I
didn't want to get Josh angry.
Yeah, definitely. That's not my intention. Also, apparently, I made this strict rule that no one's allowed to submit messages till the message scheduler thing comes up. Which apparently is a hard and fast rule, which it never was. But either way, if people wait until then you guys can go in the chat whenever you want because there's no questions before that. Anyway,
Perfect wants his ones read out.
I mean, I'm not going to hit. I know he really wants to stick by this ridiculous rule. I mean, I do have a bunch of questions. I feel like I still want to hit these rules.
Do you want me to just
go into the questions?
Josh and his take back.
Well, no. Well, we don't need to do the FAQ bit. We're nearly. Well, maybe not nearly there. There's 1, 2, but they're mostly getting to the spells bit. They're not as big.
Yeah, true. So it's mainly the infantry.
Yeah, let's get into this one.
Is it infantry? Is that really it? Infantry? Oh, and challenges. Yeah, infantry and challenges.
Yeah. We did have that initial one, which is all about combat. Combat. What's it called? The close order bonus +1 close order bonus, but unit strength 10. That was that one right back at the front.
Yes.
So these heavy infantry
already,
stuff.
by the way, like that's so big to start with. Like, that's already going the right way, right? Like, I love it already.
And I actually love that the Chaos Lord and Dragon still gets it because then he's fucking big. You know, like it's like it's just distinguishing him a little bit. Even that's just a little bit.
I know. Do you think that's by design, or do you think that's just complete happenstance?
Well, they like unit strength 5 and 10, and they've just gone 10, and then probably gone, well, fuck, he's still going to get it. Well, I'll give him impetuous then. That's probably what they did.
Yeah, I think exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Cool. And just in case no one buys, well, they don't even have a model for him. Well, I mean, they do, but it's in AOS. But yeah, so this is all new. So we get 3 special rules for infantry.
So good.
This
is so exciting. This is the best change they've made out of the entire. Since they released the game, I would say. Since they released the game.
Is it the best written rule or just the best rule?
No.
Like, yeah, because I love the writing of this.
No, I actually hate how they've written this and how they've implemented it. And I have a lot to say about that. But the intent is there, and I'm all for the intent.
Cool. The intent's cool. Basically saying that unless you're charged, if you're infantry, not monstrous infantry, but regular or heavy, you can fight. Your fighting rank is 2 ranks deep. In other words, models that are directly behind and in base contact with models in the actual fighting rank are also considered to be within its fighting rank.
Can you imagine? I'm going to harp on this a few times when I talk about this. Imagine trying to explain this to someone who's trying to learn the game, or someone you're trying to convince to play the old world. So this is
what's the actual fighting rank?
That's the actual one. But we have another fighting rank as well.
It's not the actual one, but it is.
But they don't all fight. Only if they're within so many inches.
Yeah.
And there's another rank behind that they're supporting.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait for
it. So that's the actual fighting. This is the actual fighting rank, and then your fighting rank.
You're in the virtual fighting rank. Yeah. This game's still going to be successful, hopefully, and it keeps doing multi-editions. But there'll be a time in the future when we go, do you remember when we lived through Old World v 1.5? Like, the kids will be complaining. We're like, you should have seen the FAQ we had to deal with.
I know what they're trying to do, but at the same time, if things are in base to base, it's actually so intuitive. And
they didn't have any other version of Warhammer where it had multiple fighting ranks. Oh, hang on. Yes, they did. They had it last. I think. Are they so hating 8th internally that they just go, we can't go back and borrow a rule from that. Like, it has to be 6th, or we have to make it up again. Even though what we are making up is what was in that edition, but we're not allowed to use those rules. Oh, that's what Angela's just said. Say you want 8th ed rules without saying they are 8th ed rules. Yeah, I feel like, maybe this is SDS actually like going, it's more of a positive. They're going, we can't mention 8th because if we do, it might bring the end times back on. So we've got to stay back.
The thing with the 8th ed rules, it was so much like it was just base to base and then this rank behind them.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's like 6 sentences.
And why do you make it? Like, this is what I don't get. They're making problems where you charge and you don't get bonuses. So now you're going to be like, I don't want to charge.
Well, like,
I'm just going to sit back here.
If you literally did 8th edition now, so bring back the whole support, like the whole thing's 8th, get rid of the whole fighting when you're not in base to base. But do this charging thing where maybe you only get, because, the problem with 8th is you always had step ups, so you always got nailed. Whereas if you just went, no, they're the ones there, and if they die, they die, like 6th ed. But obviously you only get that extra rank when you get in charge. It sort of fixes it. And yes, you don't get there's no line hammer at all then. But does that matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Why are they hanging on to this line hammer thing?
The fighting rank thing is a massively added complexity to, as far as I can tell, no particular benefit to the game.
Yeah.
And I really hate that they don't get it when they charge. Like, just for the mechanics of it. Like, it just makes it so much harder to remember.
True. Okay. I didn't.
And mind. There are multiple levels where I don't like it. So it's not just that. It's not just that. Depending on what the game state is, you get different numbers of dice, and you can't. You have to work out each time. It's also that depending on if you if you fall back in good order versus give ground, you actually want to fall back in good order against infantry. If you give ground, suddenly they're getting extra rank of attacks. I mean, it's a lower initiative.
Which we didn't know. I didn't realize that. I'm so dumb. Like yesterday when we were playing, for some reason I kept thinking give ground was still a charge, but no. It's
not. So then the infantry get to attack. So suddenly it's like, not only does it fall back in order, I mean, it's because you can reform in any direction, that type of thing as well. But if you're, you're also limiting the infantry that are following up to 1 rank. And I mean, I guess it's a higher initiative. But is that our way? A whole extra rank of attacks?
Don't know. May not. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know. I actually didn't mind it in our game. Like, I do like the fact that, because I'd just be worried that, like, you just go 2 ranks of great weapons all the time then, you know what I mean? Like, because you're charging in, you're getting an initiative bonus, and now can attack, probably going to attack at the same time, if not, maybe not before, but at least at the same time, and then you are just wiping people out. But maybe that's good. Maybe it gets, you know, sometimes I think, I don't know, Andrew, we played, it's a lot of dice rolling. Like, with more infantry, it's good, but this game is not as quick as the old editions, because you don't kill units as much. They just fall back and go to, or they just keep ground.
Yeah.
And so they're hanging around, obviously, with this regen thing.
Yeah.
Combat's
It's body regen, triple regen.
Combat. Yeah. And so, you know, it's almost like combat's not as lethal, so therefore it hangs around longer, so it just drags on a bit.
It was a long game. If Gummo took his Tomb Kings, I still reckon we'd be on our final
playing.
turn.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
It took so long. Like, just the you're right. The amount of extra dice, you're just like.
Yeah.
Can we address the step up type stuff as well? Someone was asking that as well. Legit question: if a model dies, does the model step up from the second fighting rank, effectively taking 2 models attacks out? I don't think that happens. My reading of it is that you remove casualties from the edges of the fighting rank, and that, by the way, so even if you're outside your movement range, you're still in the fighting rank. You just can't attack.
Yeah.
So you're taking models out that are just, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. And you leave the models that are in base to base preferentially, right? Yeah. So you're just taking out the guys on the sides, leaving the guys on the sides, which is actually completely opposite to intuitively how you think guys are dying, which is so annoying to remember. But then the guys in fighting rank aren't stepping up; they're just in there like attacking, unless they're moving to base to base. I don't really know, but I think the rule about stepping up is about going from supporting attacks to the fighting rank, and I think that's where the confusion is.
But it's so weird just to think, why can't they just have gone when you've gone on with this sub 1.1 phase of combat? Just go, okay, count how many people can do attacks, and that's how many you have. But if they die, they die. Like, there's no other. You're not getting more attacks, and you're not losing any attacks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if you've got 5 by 2, 5 by 3, but only the 5 by 2 can attack. You've got 10 possible attacks, and then, like, it doesn't really matter. I don't know. Like, I feel like the way they've worded it, it ends up being all overly complex rather than just saying.
Yeah, because I don't know how often this whole theory about them being outside their movement range and being in. I don't know how often relevant that's going to be, right? Like, they're going to be.
Yeah, but even if that is relevant, like, am I right in saying that, like, again, if you measured it all out and you said, okay, these ones, before we do any dice rolling, these are the ones that are in reach and can attack if they were going to attack right now, but we have to do initiative step, then that's all I have. I can't get any more people.
Yeah.
Because anyone else stepping in can't attack and stuff like that. So it does get a bit now. It will get confusing with, like, Motley Crew.
Yeah.
When now you've got different people.
Oh no, come on, don't add more stuff to it.
I was with the orcs, because you know what I did with my orcs? I had 24, but I only had 15 great weapons.
Complexity our brains can
so we just gave up and just went. And I'm just spending more points on my black orcs, and they can just be fitted with the same equipment.
Let's have everything.
It's too fucking confusing. Yeah.
Because what if that unit gets flank charge and front charge as well? So suddenly,
what's this guy got? But it's a modelling opportunity, Gummo. It's a modelling opportunity.
Burpee just said, "Can we please throw Motley Crew into that?"
Yep.
I'm starting to feel like the excitement of FAQ, and then now the reality setting in. We're like, what is this? Like, it's, like I said, the intent is there. I think the intent, no one's complaining about the intent. It's the delivery.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sure. And now, so going back to that thing that. And I was watching that D6 wounds video about the charges and that type of thing and who can strike. I can see why now they nerfed Frenzy, because it's so hard to kill those guys in base-to-base contact if you're in a big unit, because they've just got such a massive fighting rank that taking off those multi-wound models at the front that are in base-to-base are actually really difficult to do. So I think that's why it got nerfed, I suspect, to make it less able to get lots of attacks through, which is a shame, because they've done it in a way that's they've overcomplicated this fighting rank, and to fix Frenzy they've overcomplicated Frenzy, and everything's just, I don't know, it's just I just hate it.
But how
it's just a shame.
Large,
It's
how
such a
large a
shame.
unit do they think are actually running here? So you're allowed
I don't know.
typical 4 inches of movement. So you can have a 4 to 5 inch wide unit, and then 4 inches each side of that. You're gonna have what? Another 8 models.
And technically, you can have. I mean, on a 25 mil base, you can technically have a 5 on either side.
Yeah.
Still be hitting.
So what? You're gonna have 15 wide fighting rank. Well, that's.
But someone else is already taking a wide. They're taking a 7 or 8 rank one, so you can then still bring 13 or 14. Like, it's still quite big. You virtually haven't.
Yeah.
Warhammer.
Nah.
So.
It hasn't worked out that well. And then like the bonuses for rank bonuses, like, well, if you got more attacks, I mean, does it matter? Like,
no, because there's only 1 or 2. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But having said that, to talk about that, massed infantry, if you are a higher unit strength, you get +1. That we were finding that's pretty good, eh? Like, especially so my night goblins against your spirit host, which didn't have any magic weapons, were still eating into them slowly, because it's how you heal them. Because war banner, BSB, banner, horde, outnumber, close order.
So good.
Awesome.
So good.
6 straight up or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mind.
I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised they added that and the close order nerf as well. Like, suddenly these just like the poison, suddenly we're getting like multiple buffs to infantry or nerfs to main characters. And then we're gonna hit the challenges next up, aren't we?
There's the parry one too, just up to 3+.
The parry. Sorry, the parry.
That's okay.
The parry's awesome too.
That's good. Yeah.
Lifted straight out of the 6 book, that one, except for the max of 3. Again, I just keep adding these sub rules, and it's like you read I don't know where it must be somewhere. I think it's the next page where it's like infantry have a max armor range of 2 up, and monsters have a max armor of 3 up. But parry's a max of 3, so if you're infantry with parry, it doesn't matter. You're a max of 3.
Because I was like, oh shit, my Black Hawk's gonna be all. Oh no, they're not. Damn it.
Just again, these conditions are just so like you just have to be on top of them, and if you're not like really into the game, I think it's gonna be really annoying, because you suddenly be I can't do that. Oh, okay, yeah.
Now, I think just before you move on to the other thing, I think this one ties very much into wherever it is in the FAQ, wherever it is you can choose at the beginning of each combat phase, like each turn, what weapon you're using. So this then ties straight into that, which I don't mind, but it is a whole new thing we've never had, where suddenly everyone's hand weapons they get for free, just like the dagger they get in Mordheim, is actually going to be used as long as they can have a shield. Because it's almost like everyone's going to go sword and board, take the charge, come out with your helmet or whatever it is. You know that.
I think this is one change that. I mean, I like a lot of changes, but this one especially I like. It has never been done before for whatever reason, and I feel like it should have. I think this is awesome. It really opens up. You want to spend money on getting the infantry dudes lots of different weapons. You can, and it gives you those tactical
modeling.
Options,
But even when you look at Lord of the Rings fighting and stuff, they're not just sitting there with their one. Like, they'll be like coming with their spear, and then that'll get stuck in someone, then they'll pull their sword out, and that's sort of what this will feel like. Not right. Probably a little bit more strategical, because they're always taking it on the charge. But I like this. I don't think it adds too much. It's just pretty cool.
It doesn't. It just adds a bit more flexibility in infantry mainly.
Yeah.
And also, here we go. That's something it does. It also clears that stupid thing about, can you use lance in the second round of comp? Like, there was that whole thing about what do they strike with if they're using the lance? You know, they can't use a hand weapon. So it fixes that.
True. No, it's good. Where's the challenge? You want to the enemy shooting, is that part of it?
Challenge to the top of the page you were just on.
Oh, okay, cool. There it is. Yep.
Yeah, I'm so surprised by this. Like by itself, I don't
describe it just for the audio.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, I guess people know it, don't they? So, note. So all it is you're deleting apparently circumstances and adding. Note that if either participant is slain before their rival or a mount can make an attack, these attacks are lost.
Oh,
yeah, and that's different. It's never been in there. I don't believe either.
No.
So
no, never, definitely not. It's always been overkill and racking up those overkill points. And if people are making nerfs in combat, it's always about cutting down the max overkill points. This is a weirdly complicated way of doing that again. Like I feel like they would just take overkill down to +3 or something. That's much easier to remember, I would have thought. Anyway, but no, they've done like this, which I guess thematically makes sense because if the dude's dead, it doesn't matter.
Does this mean is this the end though of the? I know they're talking about it here, but the charm shield, is this the end of the charm shield, Andrew? Because you want your champ to die quick. So
yeah, possibly. Don't want to get those stomps as well. That's it.
So funny.
Yeah. No, but again, the instant we saw this is then you start going, oh fuck, do I put my dudes on chariots? This was where this whole like meta changing around where it's like, cool, now I can come in, wipe a bit of your front rank, take your champ out, and I'm still getting, a fair bit of
combat
overkill.
res. Yeah. Touche.
I think there's some benefits there, but also I don't even know if it's the right time to, because this is a bigger discussion, but yeah, if you start seeing obviously more massed infantry, there's more reasons. And then chariots have these benefits. These heavy chariots without swift stride are then obviously more useful. So there's more of them. So things are slow. Like other units like giants or other things that you sort of like, oh, they're annoying because they have no swift stride. Suddenly like, oh, maybe that's not so bad because nothing else has swift stride. Well, yeah, like not the whole fucking army, which is usually what it's been. I'm excited to see what comes out of it. I hope it just doesn't all be one thing, but I hope it sort of opens up the books to be a bit more, more variety because there's more options.
Absolutely.
Did you say first charge?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mention that, but a lot of the heavy chariots have that as well. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, first charge will suddenly become relevant.
Yeah.
The day of the chariot is to come.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just such a massive, because there's like 3 or 4 different, or 3 probably buffs / nerfs where, so the close order plus the outnumbering plus the challenges, suddenly it's going from, static combat res of 3 or 4 for a horde, like a block of 20 gobos with the command. The static combat res is now like 6, and then a dragon.
Yeah, well, like let's look at gobo hordes. Yeah, so that's 3. 2 banners is 5. You put the big red raggedy flag and the war banner on, so that's 7. Outnumbering, close order, and then
what are you talking about? I'm just talking about a naked unit of 20 gobos in a block.
Yeah.
Why are you adding stuff to this gobbo? You don't even need it.
I'm just saying in terms of static combat res, I can get up to like 10.
Yeah, but you don't need 10. So
I know, but it's just
if you get 20 gobos with 3 ranks and a standard, and they're outnumbering and they've got close order, that's static combat res to 6. If they get like a dragon doesn't want to charge it because it'll get challenged out. The dude on top might do 1 or 2 overkill and kill the dude. So he's got 3 combat res and he's losing combat by 3.
Yeah. But you know what's really cool then, on top of that, is then, leadership debuffs as well, even better. Yeah.
So much.
Talks about naked guys.
Yeah, my God. Thanks, Silver Dave. Ruin the conversation.
Now, ironically, we just buffed up the first charge. It almost becomes useless because I can still get outnumbering, close order. You don't get close order. So suddenly the first charge is almost a useless rule too, because you can take out my 1 or 2 ranks, but I don't care because I've still got my 2 extra combat res from outnumbering. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's going to be interesting. See how it all settles.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Like it forces you to use the ridden monsters in a completely different way, and especially just blast through stuff. So tactically, it's a massive improvement to the game. I fear they've gone a bit too far, to be honest. But I mean, those monsters are still super tough. Like they're super resilient. It's just they're not going to be generating the static combat res. the reliable combat bits they used to be able to.
Maybe we'll find out that, you know how they only did on the match play doc, they only did the minus. Sorry, what was it? Sorry, my daughter just messaged me. They only did the 25%. You get them down to 25% and you get 50%, not down to 50% and you get 50% of their wounds. I think that might be okay, you know, because I was a bit going, why don't they just do 50% if you get it below 50? But maybe they'll need that buff, ironically. No, it's going to be interesting. You're just going to have to play a lot more supportive. And right now, people like with a tooled up Chaos Dragon, they can pretty much, if you were actually playing super hardcore meta, you know, most of the time they were okay. If they got in a bad position, it did, you know, they could still probably weather it. And now it's different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Yeah, I think you're on point there, Gummo. Because like you got to be smart about it. You just, all right, I need to send my dragon in with, you know, some knights or something and then the champ of the knights can take a challenge and the dragon just get it down. But 100%.
Yeah, that's strategy. You know, that's tactics. That's good.
Anything? I mean, there's other ones here, but I think that's any of these spell ones. Quickly, do you want to cover or
travel mystical pathway? Let's try
that
destruction of that one, shall we?
Yeah,
absolutely nerfed near the ground. Now it's utterly useless. Because what is it? You have to be wholly within 24 inches. 12 inches. 12.
Yeah, I still think, apart from the casting value of it, I think it's still potentially going to have play on the objectives, because if you've got a lot of objectives and you want to move something, you know, in a weird way that you couldn't move it there with a smaller unit, then that might be.
Which is probably how it was originally intended as a design, you know?
Yeah. Not for a giant block to move halfway across the board and shoot a dragon. Yeah.
The issue I have with some of these nerfs, even Pillar of Fire and all that, and maybe that's just the way the spells are, this is what it is. It feels like there's only half the spell deck that you actually want. Like, it's not like and I'm not asking every spell to be like great, but I think some of them aren't even situational. Some of them are just downright bad sometimes that you very rarely wouldn't use. Yeah, can you do PSG? Probably not. Can't move. Oh God, who bloody knows?
Yep.
No, that's the thing. The Pillar of Fire needed to happen. The TMP needed to happen. Most of the other changes are casting value changes, aren't they?
But like, it's funny. Like, did Pillar of Fire need it, given that they changed the other vortex rule that is it moves if it's underneath, it moves the shortest distance to get out from underneath, sort of what the Fanatic does. Because now I can't Pillar of Fire right down your army. I only just do a little bit, you know. Like, it feels like there was something cool about Battle Magic that it had two very offensive spells, the only one in there, and now it's like no one's taken Pillar. So now it's only what? Fireball, Arcane Urgency, and what's it called? The board one, you know. I don't know. I'm a bit it's just
pretty hard hit to it. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that about it?
Nothing. Yeah, I mean, Ruby Ring's impossible to cast now, and it's more expensive. I think you'll see that disappear as well. They seem to love nerfing stuff out of existence for some reason, rather just I don't know. Did you end up? You did take it though, didn't you, Andrew? You still in 35.
It's only one.
You got one off, I think. Or...
Yeah. I think it's gone from what rolling a 6 to rolling a 7 to get it off, I suppose. So it's probably what's a 7 smack bang on.
I think once if people start doing a little bit more MR around, it might be becoming even worse. The other thing to talk about quickly, obviously, is the Ogre Blade. Finally, I must be, you know. So I don't know if is not Alex, Alistair still on. I think it's Alistair or is it Alex that's on here from Behemoths.
Oh, I thought they're both on.
Oh, they're both on. Because one thing about their podcast the other day when you were on, you didn't get asked why you're a behemoth. But I was thinking to myself, I don't know if you guys who are listening, if you haven't gone and checked out the Old World Behemoths podcast over on Patreon, they're a very cool Australian Sydney podcast, but they often say why they're behemoths. I'm just doing this off the cuff now because I'm bored. Not bored, but tangent. Why you didn't get a chance, Andrew, to say why you're a behemoth, but you know what I would say? Why I'm a behemoth?
Why?
I've played Old World for 18 months and I'm yet to take an ogre blade.
Oh,
that's why I'm a
wow. That's incredible.
Andrew, why are you
I'm actually really impressed by that.
I can't back that up.
No, you can't.
That's amazing.
You definitely can't use that one though, because I think you almost use it every game. But not
good.
Really. Yeah.
75 points.
Yeah, 75 points. So now you can't do it with the ward.
So so it's really limiting your other options to take. Mate, I was suddenly you're looking at other items, and you're like, oh, maybe I will take the multi-wound model weapon.
You know how like everything gets judged against that 65-point magic item? Now at 75, we have to go back and look at all those 70, 65, 75-point magic items.
Yeah, ballparks. It's been raised. Yeah.
Suddenly I'm like, do I take the Sword of the Quest?
Yeah.
Mark said no trouble taking 2 fucking worms. Hey, yeah, true, but I didn't take them in the game I just played, so I don't know. But yes.
Yep. But no ogre blades on the wyverns, so that's okay.
No ogre blade. Yeah. Cool. Look. I've been a bit negative on all these, but it's still the changes had to come, and I think it's if anything shaking the meta. It's going to be crazy.
The overall shape of the changes are really cool and really good. I'm absolutely on board with it. A lot of the fine text I've got issues with, but I feel like how the game is going to feel and play and look is going to be massively improved.
Ooh.
We're going to have blocks of the troops on there.
How's a rating from you guys? Out of 5 stars, how would you rate the FAQ?
We do it in categories like Josh just did. I'd give it... The fact that it's going to make lists different, and it's going to, not just lists different, it's going to make infantry go on the board. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, even though... Only because I know sensible people in FAQs will come out. We're going to play it like this. I don't think especially in Australia, we're not at this point where, like, they just said it before, like the Western Sydney War Gamers. This stuff's not going to be stupid. They'll just FAQ it. We'll play it that way. So that's why I still say 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. I'm going to go the other way for just for the conversation. I'm going to go 2 out of 5 because I think they've made it. As much as they've done a good job in terms of changing those things, they've made it much harder for new players to pick up the rules. They've really complicated things. They've ruined the rule book. And they've just added complexity where complexity wasn't needed. They're just like, there's a complexity budget. I don't care about the budget. I'm just going to add more and more complexity. So, that's why I rate it low.
I
don't know. That's devil's advocate. I'm not necessarily definitely saying that. I'm just saying, like,
I don't think new players are a factor for this version. No, but yes, I totally agree. Like, at this point, it's you just at this point it's not built for new players, unfortunately.
Could have been so much better. Could have been so much better.
Yeah, totally. What about you, Andrew?
Well, I'll probably counter Josh. I'll be probably similar towards Gomo. I don't think the game was beginner friendly to start with in any way. So, I mean, to me, it's always had a steep learning curve.
It's even steeper.
It is steeper. Yeah, it's a lot steeper.
Sorry, I missed Mark's new players to Old World like Josh. Sorry, keep going.
No.
This has got me excited in the game in the way I haven't been for a long time. So
yeah.
Very good for it.
Fundamentals are good, and I think the intent is there. But like you said, it just needs a slight renovation, just to tidy up. Just get out the back, polish, and we're good.
I really don't think these guys, their game designers, I really don't think they'd be good computer programmers. I'll tell you, being a computer programmer, you can't be ambiguous. I just think these guys make horror programmers. But anyway, I think their intent is there. So so I did have one more thought, and it probably goes back to someone's Purpley said, I'm so taking Cathay strength 10 AP -4 D3 multi-wound stick. So that must have been one of their weapons. That's that, whatever it's called. Yeah. 75 or 70.1. Cathay have some stuff in their book, which looking at this needs an FAQ. As in, I think some of their casting things, there was a couple of things that look like needs to be adjusted. I think, I'm not saying that it does, but it sounded like when you looked at it, I can't remember what the specifics are, but that made me think, do you guys think we will see a Cathay FAQ? Because there's no Cathay FAQ or Errata, I should say, but there's definitely no Cathay FAQ here because it's not in those books, I guess, either. It's not in Fighting Forces of Fantasy or whatever. Do you think after Saturday we'll see a Cathay one?
I think it's likely. Dwarves got a day FAQ, didn't they?
Yeah, but it went in this, like, would they add it into the Forces of Fantasy one, or would we? Is there any chance they'll bring out like 1.5.2 and fix up some of the shit that's just come out the last week? I'm asking too much.
Very optimistic. That's really optimistic. I feel they've already written. They've probably got the FAQ for Cathay done. They're just waiting for the release to put it out. I don't think they're going to make further adjustments.
I'm just
6 months of this.
We don't even. I've got no regen on any of my stuff. So,
well, can I ask a question for
Necrosphinxes are fucking gone. You're not taking them. Sorry.
Oh, come on. You still got taking Necrosphinx. Nah, they're great. So probably for the UK players, how do ambiguous questions with rules work at Warhammer World when they've got their tournaments there?
They probably just I don't know.
They got TOs, or surely they'd have like rulings on these rules. Like how does that work? I've always wondered, because wouldn't that be like their ruling or their rules be overarching to a certain degree?
No, I don't think so. JYT was playing in some of the tournaments, and I think I heard right near the beginning of the edition that he even was getting some things wrong and stuff or something, or I don't think there was. I don't think they. I don't know. Like the guys can ask, but
Why come and tell us he's not taking the piss? I think Andrew. Thanks, like that.
Yeah, I don't think they decree anything that if it happened at Warhammer World that's like gospel or anything.
Yeah, I just thought like
I don't think they know any better than us.
Yeah, okay.
Clearly got no idea.
Here we go. They're clueless. You find Richie or better still Rebecca and ask them. Okay, so that's probably what we do in our tournaments. You usually go find the person who you think's plays the best or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like even if you found the person that was like writing these FAQs, you still wouldn't really get a clear answer from them.
Yeah. just dice it.
No, I mean, given that I would assume they have time to write these and they still make them a bit weird. You're probably not going to get them off the cuff with an answer. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All
right. Shall I hit some Patreon? Wait, are we done with this?
Yeah, let's. I don't know, man. Are we even going to get onto the other ones? Maybe not. Maybe we can cover the other action ones later.
Oh, yeah.
I'll hit some Patreon questions and see how I feel. Here we go. We've got a fair few Patreon questions, guys. So Perfidy, first up. Arcane Journal Armies of Grand Cathay review when? He's got a few of these.
Yeah.
Are we doing it?
Yeah, we will. But should we wait till I get the book or not? I don't know. Even though I've got the crappy.
Because I must admit, if you do it now and then they have a day one FAQ, it'll be immediately out of date.
Yeah. And that's, to be honest, I don't want to jump the other ones, but there's been no use to other faction focuses till this thing came out. So
yeah. Yep.
And then I ask, I think the dentist question. Oh, this is a Petroni one too. So Cathay have the best Falcon Horn now. I never ran it in my Bretts anyway because I like fun, but now I'm wondering if I would even take competitively. Mostly because I know what my rolling is like. So it's an unmodified leadership 8 once a game, or give a character a punchy weapon. And he thinks it's maybe we're still worth it for a bunch of potential matchups. I don't know, Dennis, whether it's worth it because the horn is now one use only.
Yeah,
Still
so that's the one in Cathay that would need to be patched.
Perfectly. I'm coming back to your questions. I'm sprinkling them through the other questions. Otherwise, it's just I'm just racking off a list. So
needy.
I feel like something more fun this way. Perfectly, mate. What the heck? Let me do it. I think the horn. I don't think anyone's going to take it anymore. I really think the horn's dead.
Wow.
There was a one use only horn in the 6th ed book, and no one ever ran that either. And if dragons, if they're not going to be blasting through units in the same way they used to be, I don't see particularly.
How much is the horn? Sorry,
it's either 25 or 35.
Okay, it must be because I think the beastman one's 35. I think. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
I was thinking with beastman potentially you might.
It's 40. Sorry, it's 40 points.
Okay. I thought the beastman might take it, but not do the Bestigor veteran thing because that's way too expensive.
Yeah.
But just take that 35 point, given that they don't have much flyers, that they might want to try that one-off sort of nerve. And it's a 35 points. It might work, might not type thing. But
his comments
Bretts probably don't need it.
Yeah. Josh's horn is dead. Hear it here first. Yeah, I don't think Bretts especially need it, in terms of the matchups they're finding. One other thing I'll bring up just now while talking about Bretonia, because I do want to mention this as well, and something I've thought of, is that you remember when they made that ridiculous FAQ about the Lance that the entire fighting rank of the opponent's unit is in base-to-base contact?
Oh, yeah.
So now it's 2 ranks of fighting rank guys in base-to-base contact.
You're not going to be charging infantry, are you?
Does that mean that even if they're outside their movement range, they're still in base to base?
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know how you're going to be charging.
Because they're still in the fighting rank. They just can't attack because they're outside. But they'd be base to base.
Now, is it kill the Lance or did you just take a really big one?
Yeah. The ultimate
What's 12 inches wide. We got to fit in your deployment zone, don't you? So your fighting rank's really big.
That's so ridiculous.
Well, have you seen Lords of Lance? Did you guys read that? Did they have that big giant? That's how they got out of the skeleton horde. Yeah. The gigantic lance.
So I think you just need to be the first person that takes I don't know, what's a good size? 50?
Like 15.
How much that costs?
50.
Yeah.
50.
So you might have to deploy sideways, and
this
that's
is
where you need TMP.
Josh.
You need TMP so you can actually move it back on the table and point it in the right direction.
Oh, Josh.
Yeah.
15. They're rookie numbers, mate.
Go home, Josh. What are you doing here? I'm just gonna keep going. So Perfidy's next question. Here we go, Perfidy. Vampire counts, Orcs and Goblins, High Elf, Empire, Dwarf, Beastmen, Dark Elf, Tomb Kings, Warrior of the Chaos, Bretonia, and Wood Elf faction refocused for 1.5.
Wow. Might be coming within the next day. Maybe not full 2-hour ones, but we are currently drafting all videos for all that stuff.
It's happening
in discussion.
Yeah.
And by we, Gomo means Gomo.
Yeah.
And then he also asked
currently drafting.
Re-review of all existing arcane journals for 1.5. I mean, I imagine would we do that as part of the faction refocus anyway?
So what I was thinking was try to keep them to 30 minutes, do 30 minutes of faction, pump them out once a day over 2 weeks or something. That's probably what I'll try to do.
Yeah.
And just sort of how does that, what's winners and losers, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, rather than
And I think Gomo, you were looking at going solo for quite a few of those, weren't you?
Yeah, probably we'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. Is that right? We'll just
to get them out.
Let you just do it.
Well, we'll need to get them out. We can't. Yeah, it's too hard.
Well, I think Gomo said, if you can't get anyone else on, he'll just do it.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just plug it in, and then whoever's available is available, sort of thing.
Yep. Fair enough. All right, this is a bigger question. So for Forsaken Darkness asks, how do you think the FAQ and the errata will affect the Australian meta? Is Aussie comp still a thing? Or have there been enough positive changes via these changes that the scenarios are the way forward as per the old Hammer tournaments and match playbook? And indirectly, is the square-based Renegade's still a thing.
Okay, hang on. So
it's a big one.
Well, maybe we'll do the Aussie comp one first.
Yeah, because the Aussie comp's a question because you guys inquired about that with Castle Assault.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they sent. Yeah, Kendall just sent something about that. But also, we had when Pash was on last week, we sort of hit him up and said, "Like, when do you think?" He's obviously going to look at it. And then yes, Kendall. So Aussie comp. I wouldn't say Aussie comp's been a thing in Aussie because it's got nothing to do with Aussie. I don't even know. We played one. Actually, have we played an Aussie comp tournament? No.
No, I
don't think so. Castle's the only one that I know of as a big tournament that's doing it. And the rule, just for people, if you're interested, is it's still going to be Aussie comp, but obviously, Kendall's reached out to Pash and Chris to say what's going to change. And I think my preference, it's funny, and I was talking to Pash about was, it feels like we don't technically need it, and you need the meta to settle back down again to work out what the hell 1.5 is. So I was like prodding, if Pash is still on, but he's left, is like, how about you make Aussie comp almost nothing? And then even though Castle Assault's got Aussie comp, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. That'd be funny, but yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're comping something that needs to work itself out.
That's right.
Yeah, and I understand why people like Kendall and people are leaving it in because they've already said it's in. So like I get that part, but it's just funny. It's like at some point, maybe this is a big enough change that it warrants just going back to the drawing board. But then again, the drawing board we haven't really talked about too much is, do you just take the match play, like what's it called, the open war or whatever the middle one is, whatever it's called. What's the middle one? Is that open war? No, open war is the normal book, and then I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, I can't remember which one's which, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind maintaining some level of character limit.
Yes.
Lower than 50%.
I know. Yeah.
Aside from that, I feel like you can pretty much open the floodgates.
I think that's the only thing we ever want. Just lower. This is the thing. We're not actually asking for 8 pages of FAQs. We're asking for about 3 things.
Yeah.
It's funny. Have you got a thought on the last question before we go to the first one, which was
the Renegades?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's still a thing. If anything, it's more so, isn't it? It's actually more important.
I think
that's what I was saying earlier. At the start of
the events I'm going to be going to take Renegades because I know Western Sydney War Gamers take them. I mean, I know Castle Assault hasn't, but I mean, I think that was just an early call before Renegades really started to establish. Now we'll see what Val's version 2, whatever it is, does. But if you want those armies in the game, you can't play them out. Like you said earlier, Josh, you won't be able to play them out of the book at some point. You're going to have to, help them.
Yeah, agree.
Definitely.
So then, how do we think it's going to affect the meta? Like, it's so hard to predict, to be honest, what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to see what happens. Everyone's going to be throwing out all these massive blocks. I think your things about the giants and the chariots would be really cool. I mean, that's something that could totally happen.
I just want to.
I think infantry must have to dominate. And just a query of go for it.
I just wanted to call this out for people who don't know because it's been here for a while, but you can obviously search the meta based on.
Mate, that looks incredible.
So you can set. Errata 1.51 is already here. Now, obviously, if I go and do this, there won't be many tournaments that they probably didn't even use that FAQ. So probably should bunch that date around a little bit. But basically at some point, maybe I'll default this at some point, or maybe I'll make it a user preference.
That is so well designed. Why can't you get people like that can do this kind of stuff, but like for rules and like have them employed?
It's not hard. I mean, I didn't do this either. This is AI. AI can do our rules better than us, so why don't we just use it? But yes, I would imagine. I'll just give this a shout out, even though I did it. Is just hopefully over time as we get more events in, we'll see if it has shifted it based on the date, like that new errata's out. So Yeah,
That's
sorry,
awesome.
Josh, keep going. But
I think infantry are going to absolutely dominate to start with because people are going to keep playing a little bit like they're expecting their dragons to go into blocks and like knock through them, and then everything will, like. So I think there'll be a transition period, and then I think people trying to work out, well, yeah, how do we counter all these blocks, and then I don't know what's going to happen really, but the army's going to look like armies again.
Yeah,
that's
well,
what I'm most excited about.
So meta, if we want to talk about meta, because I reckon it's worth bringing this up from our game because we're getting late in the pod here, is if there's some objective sitting things,
oh yeah,
and the regen works the way we think it does. Oh, you put a 40, 50, 60 skeleton or whatever mob or whatever on something like that, it's going to be hard to shift it. Especially it's like that King of the Hill thing. How many times did your dudes come back like that graveyard and then they get pushed back?
Yeah.
They end up on the hill again, and you just I think there's going to be a meta shift to some of those type of things where you just like just a big block of fuck you, I'm not moving, and I can also come back.
One more left.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I know. I almost wonder whether I'm actually worried that it's ironic, isn't it? That too many objective scenarios will advantage those static blocks too much.
Yes, I know. Yeah. This is the problem with pulling too many levers at once, Josh, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is like having those static objectives is really cool when the infantry no one took them and you had to encourage them to be taken.
Yeah.
And now it's actually going to become quite a dominant force in the meta. Suddenly
swung the other way.
It's actually going to feel kind of crap. You're like, oh, I won't be able to dislodge this huge unmovable block, and now I can't do anything about it. And
the other thing I'll say, because again, it depends on which missions you use and all that. But like, for example, that King of the Hill one, if it's in your if you've got a 1 day with King of the Hill where you're getting, what was it, Andrew? It's up to 200 VPs per turn. So there is 1,200 VPs for sitting on that hill. So you can win the game just sitting on the fucking hill. So you just take a unit of well, okay, they have comp the biggest size, so you can't have a 500. You can only have a 500 point unit as well. Is that right? In that one of those. So 500 points of skeleton spearman or whatever. It's pretty big. It's at least 80. I don't know. Put that on there, and you've won 160 victory points because you can't. You can't get it off.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that. I just mean, I don't want to see like massive blocks. Like what Warhammer should be is the blocks of 10 to 30 guys and like multiple different units all moving around strategically, that type of thing. If we go back to that thing, like I'm a bit worried that it's going to encourage massive infantry blocks. They have like 1 or 2 massive Death Stars, and it's just going to be that's going to be a 6, 8 bloody 8th again.
Yeah.
So
it needs to have like a red rule book.
Medium-sized units. That's what we want to see, and hopefully that's what it comes out as. But I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, dwarf King of the Hill. Yeah. I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. That's imagine a bunch of
Mindbreakers laughing at me.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, that's a killer too.
They've got their day. They got their day. Yep.
Yeah, but even 2-inch grip ground, I mean, geez. Well, you can and you can't. Depends on what ones. All you need to do is put some other units behind them. They can't move as well. That's that. And then the spearmen with phalanx that they don't give ground. So there's heaps of, I don't know. There's going to be some interesting meta. Yeah, it's going to be. I don't have no idea where it'll go, but the cool thing is we will see some infantry builds that people just lean heavy into it and go, you have to chew through all this. So it's going to be fun to see.
Yeah.
We should see how it goes.
But then you could have like flame templates could have their day. You could have like all these sort of like big templates at the moment, which don't really mean anything. You got those big strength 3 templates. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it's a good point. Some of those stupid assailments in that game, you put it on the middle of the unit and it scatters. It's like, yeah, well, I don't care if it scatters because your unit's so big, it's going to hit something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a bit of that. Yeah.
I will see.
So next question, and this sort of, I guess I could weave this in. So Mark asks, with all these changes and that type of thing, has it made you think? And I guess this is in the context of this infantry talk. I really want to give faction X a go. If so, what is faction X for each of you? Like, so he's asking, I guess, yeah, is there a particular faction you want to try? I don't know if he's asking if it's a new faction or not, but is there a particular faction that you want to
that's
give
a
a
good
go?
point. It might not be because I mean I'm too busy with the ones haven't even started yet. So
I guess the better question is, what faction would you be interested in experimenting with and playing with and seeing the changes are? Empire,
yeah, just because I mean, obviously they're It's having said that, if anyone's looked at ASB's list that he's been, pretty good at over this last year, it's almost perfect for this meta as well. Is it pretty ironic? Yeah, I think so. It's pretty bloody good. It's when you think about it.
I must admit the 39-inch move is unaffected pretty much, isn't it? The fly move to the back of the board.
Yep.
That's still happening.
Yeah, that's unaffected. But his infantry just got better. And then without some of those other craziness, like going back, his outriders are still good. The shooting's good. It's fitted in pretty well, I think. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah. What's yours?
Empire would be, I know, Josh. I got one for you. Bretonian. Men at arm blocks. Big ones.
Men at arm blocks.
I would
like not really a faction, but you did something.
I did run them once and I dropped them again.
I can
really run them. I am if I was going to run something that I hadn't run before, I would be intrigued to run some Dark Elves with some Executioner blocks and Blackguard and some warriors with hand weapon shield and that type of thing. Just see how they play. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say Wood Elves because I like Wood Elves. I really like Wood Elves. But
have you got a Wood Elf army or did you sell it? I can't remember.
Nah, I sold it when I had my High Elves painted up because I can only run one elf, army. That's the way I look at it. So
I feel like they might have. I don't know not to get into this with those other videos, but how Wood Elves with these 1.5s? Because I feel like they needed some of that poison shooting, and now I don't know. Maybe you're right, Josh. Maybe depending on how you read the rule, maybe it's not that big a deal. But it feels like I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see if people do bring some of the Wood Elf infantry out. I don't know. What's Eternal Guard like? Still, they do get their parry.
Eternal Guard,
Wildwood Rangers, you never seen them. Yeah, just
never see them. Never see them.
They wouldn't get a parry though, but it was the
no.
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't get because they've got their two-handed weapon things, don't they? The Wild Rangers. They've got one. Oh, that's right. They've only got one attack base, but I think they get extra attack if the opponent causes fear or terror.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I feel like an extra attack on base is actually quite potent, given how much more is in the fighting rank and how much more difficult it is to take those models out that are in base to base, apparently. Which again screws with my head. Mark's put another question. I don't know where to put this in, but the question for the old Fanatics: if a balloon was a mammal, would you be able to milk it? And I honestly don't understand this question at all. I'm not sure what it's getting at.
How does someone come up with that question? That's where the balloon comes from.
Like, we'll just flex more on him than us, Sophie.
What brain? What chain of thought led to that?
I don't know.
Had a couple of pints.
Yeah.
Down a question.
I did have a random discussion. I was trying to explain cold ones to my partner. And she's like, "Oh, these with lizard things." So I'm like, "Yeah." And sometimes, as I was showing her my cold one nights, and then I was like, "Actually, there's actually lizards that ride these as well." And she's like, "What do you mean there's lizards? That's a lizard." Like, why do you mean? Yeah, they're more intelligent. They go on top. And I was like showing her skinks and saurus, and then she's like, "Oh, do they lose their tails if they get wounded?"
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
And that's my question. That's what I'm wondering. I feel like lizards should be able to lose their tails.
That's so
anyway,
good.
That's my random anecdote inside that question. 2 more questions. One from Sean and then Perfidy as a sign-off one. So Sean asks, do you think all these rules and mission changes have got us to a better place?
This is philosophical.
Than a better place than what would have happened if they'd done a comprehensive rules rebalancing, but with only a few rules changes.
Because he's talking about is he talking about points more? Is that what he said?
So he's saying if they only change some rules, but change the points more, yeah.
Yeah. Because I saw that and I went, oh, that's a philosophical question. Well, not
I feel like they've tried that with like some of the comp restrictions that they've done, like the 500 points and the 25% per character. I know it wasn't comprehensive, but I mean.
Well, I think unless you really went hard on the points, I still don't think you'd take infantry and all that with the way it was.
Yeah, so, I think there's a limit to how effective points can be, to be honest. I mean, look, they've massively increased Pig Knights costs, and people shouldn't be taking them.
Well, I've got half painted dragon ogres here, and I can't take them for extra 3 points, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because there's just a limit to how, just the game mechanics and how effective things can be,
that is.
I think they could have got away with fewer rules changes than they actually did, and still had quite a good effect.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff they probably didn't need to change.
Yeah, the only thing, apart from the problem is the FAQ is going to always be taken as, and the errata is take it or leave it. Like you either don't play with it and you play like out of the book, like if you didn't even know it exists, or you're going to play with those versions. Outside of that, though, the missions and the match play thing and all that is all very pluggable. So hopefully that means, if we find that those objective things are just causing the infantry to be overpowered because they're just sitting on blocks, then you'll probably get back to just straight up kill each other across the table, don't worry about secondaries, which might be fine too. Hopefully there's enough levers that TOs can pull. So the only negative to me is, yes, that FAQ is written really badly and just needs another FAQ. But the TOs I know that run our tournaments will have probably already done that. So not be
they'll just have to make their rulings, put them on the pack, and then as long as it's consistent ideally across the community, that's fine. It'll be okay until they get the hot fixes out. Last question, Perfidy. Does Empire Arcane Journal even exist to you guys? When?
It does. It'll come.
We never even got it out before 1.5. Now we'll have it.
We're a whole different army now. They might be good. I have to go back and read it again with this new 1.5. In my brain.
We'll just plug ASB into the
he's the one who wants to do it too, but I've pushed it off the last few weeks now because of this whole FAQ. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think he'll be even more keen to do it now that this happened.
We'll contract ASB out. He can do it.
He can do it.
Cool. Well, I think that's long enough. We didn't even get through. I love that we got through one PDF doc because there was just so much in that. I mean, and we needed Josh's take and.
That was fun to discuss.
We'll start going in a bit deeper in our YouTube channel now on some of the other videos. Obviously, we'll get our bat wrap up, see our first 1.5 game, which was a lot of fun. But guys, anything else you want to? We didn't hit a hobby or anything, so anything you want to just shout out before we close it off? Did you guys have anything?
No.
I'll just.
I was gonna say, was the bat wrap? Are you working on that? Is that, or do you want me to work on that? Is that coming out soon?
Yeah, I'll get it out tomorrow. I tried the new.
Awesome.
I tried one of the new editors, and I'm not using it. That DaVinci thingy is too freaking complicated, so I'm just going to use mine to get it out.
I couldn't work it out either. I was in there.
Insane.
It is. It's
like literally, I put my videos in there, and they're different color spectrum, so they look all washed out. And then I looked it up, and people are like, "Yeah, you've got to go into all these color settings and balance." I'm like, "No, fuck off. No, just play the video like it looks on my computer." I don't know. Anyway, that's another issue. But yes, we will get the battle report out. And I just want to shout out Old World Fanatics Grand Cathaint Slowgrow over on the Discord. Jump on that. Cathay's out on Saturday. I don't think I'm
not
getting
cafe
one.
only,
I ordered it. No, it's not. It's
empty,
cafe.
right?
So you can have cafe
Cafe
or
options.
whatever. Yeah. So get over there, join it. It starts July 1st, which is, I guess, tomorrow, but obviously no one's got their, well, some people have their cafe. Hopefully mine will get here next week sometime from Gap Games. Do you reckon? Like they'll probably post it in the week. Come next week, maybe.
Surely.
Hoping, cross the fingers. Until then, I've got Beastman to paint, so I've got enough to do. So anyway, yeah, thanks for listening to our ramblings. 2 hours, whatever it is, 18 minutes in. Really appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Like, subscribe, leave some comments. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Jump over to patreon.com/oldworldfanatics to support us over there as well. Big thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week for episode 100. We're growing up. See you next week, guys.
God. See ya.
Ciao.